Hi again, everyone. This is Tom Rudebush along with Mark Benetti on ESPN Radio Rapid City from Dickinson, North Dakota. And this afternoon, Post 22 will play its final road regular season game here against the Rough Riders. The two teams split a doubleheader last night with Dickinson winning 6-5 in the first game and Post 22 recording a 6-inning 11-0 win in the nightcap. So the Hardhats come in with a 45-7 record, and Dickinson will be 21-10 entering the game here this morning. And Mark Benetti, the Hardhats, it's hard to believe this is the 8th time we've gotten on a bus and went out on the road with the team this year, and I think the team is ready to be home for a while. It's been a long stretch of games. I think I figured out the last 25 games the Hardhats have played, 18 have been on the road.
That's insane. That is a lot of baseball. That's a lot of travel. It wears on your body if you're not careful. But these Hardhats, they're mentally prepared, they're physically prepared, and luckily nothing's come back to haunt them with an injury or such or any other ailment. So it's good that these Hardhats have gone on the road. They've taken the battle test of road travel, and they've come out and they've played some great baseball. They've only dropped 2 road games in the last couple of weeks that they've played on the road. So good for them to see some success and keep things rolling, trying to fine-tune and get home. But you're absolutely right. They want to get home, and that's the benefit of hosting the state tournament. You've got 3 games against the Billings Scarlets when we get back home later this week, and then you have nothing until the state tournament starts, and that's the benefit of not having to travel or play in the Region 3A as well. You can go home, finish out your regular season, and then get focused and prepared for the state tournament.
We know we've been talking so much about this new pitch count rule, which will come into effect in state tournament, national, regional, and World Series play. I want to read to you from the American Legion Baseball website. And here is what it says, and this will try to clarify it as much as we can. Pitchers will not be able to make more than 2 appearances in any 3-day span. In addition, pitchers will have required rest based on the number of pitches thrown in a given day. Throwing 1 to 45 pitches in a game requires 1 day of rest. 46 to 60 pitches requires 2 days of rest. 61 to 75 pitches requires 3 days of rest, and 76 or more pitches will require 4 days of rest. So this is what the rule is according to the American Legion National Office. Gary Stone is the National Commissioner of Legion Baseball. There are several comments also on the website about this rule change, and I don't think there's anybody that would really argue against some type of pitch limitation. I think we're all in agreement on that. However, when you read some of the comments about this, there are some very good points raised, and I'll just bring up one. And that is Post 22, let's say, is ahead in the 9th inning, 5-3, and they bring in Tommy Moore to close the game, and he throws 2 pitches. According to the rules, he would not be able to pitch the next day, but would be able to pitch the day after. So throwing 2 pitches would require Tommy Wall. Did I say Tommy Moore again? Gee, Christmas. I had a friend, Tommy Moore, when I was a young kid, ran around with him a little bit, and I just, that was only 47 years ago, so you think I'd let go of that. But Tommy Wall, and so, I mean, Mark, it's hard for me to grasp exactly how this rule was crafted, who put the thought into it. U.S. Baseball is credited with the convincing Legion Baseball to go around. They say Major League Baseball is behind the rule. And so anyway, I just think that the basic issue of pitch counts is fine, but I think this will be tweaked before we see it again next year.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And you're right on the point in particular that required rest should be necessary for a certain pitch count. But to be quite honest with you, Tom, the biggest thing that I have outside of what you do with if you only throw 2 pitches, you have to rest a day, I think that's pointless. I think you rescale it. And going back to the comments you and I made yesterday, 75 pitches for 4 days of rest, I personally think is too little. Because if you go on a healthy average of 15 pitches an inning, that's only 5 innings that you get to work. And we're playing 9 in the postseason at that point. So you barely get to make it just over the midway point of a ball game.
And when you consider the fact that most teams, but not all, it's not 100%, most teams can field an 18-man roster. There are many teams that cannot field an 18-man roster, even going into tournament play. And when you play 9 innings with a pitch count like this, you better have every kid on your team capable of throwing. Throwing is one thing, pitching is another. And I think you're going to see a lot of reduced quality of play by this rule. Now, I haven't studied it enough or given it enough thought to say, okay, Tom, you're against it. What would you come up with? But I think if I think about this for a while, and I know that Mitch Messer and a lot of other coaches, Jim Peck in Excelsior and some others around Legion Baseball who will be meeting with the National Legion this winter as an advisory committee made up of Legion coaches, will come up with some type of a in-between rule there because, as you said, Mark, it'll be interesting. Let's track today in this 9-inning game for both pitching, both teams, how many innings we have with 15 pitches or less. All right, let's see how it plays out by the time the game is over. And by the way, we're playing a 9-inning game today, so this will be a good example of what we might see in postseason play.
The plot thickens, doesn't it? It works perfectly for us to try and track all of this. It's great. It will be interesting to see. And like you said, Tom, I think something like this is necessary. These are young gentlemen. You don't want to wreck their future baseball careers. You don't want to tear their arms up because pitching is very taxing, depending on what kind of pitcher you are as well. Throwing off-speed, throwing breaking ball pitches, that taxes so much more out of your arm, or throwing a fastball is the easiest pitch you can throw. So a guy like Kyle McGuire, his arm's not going to be nearly as taxed as somebody like a Holden Jackson who throws curveball after curveball. It takes so much more out of your arm. And luckily, the Hardhats don't have anybody that throws a knuckleball. Otherwise, they'd have a shoulder that's wrecked to kingdom come. So, but definitely something like that I think is required. But again, if I had to do it, you scale it differently. You go 1 to 30 pitches, you don't need a day of rest because that's what a normal reliever would throw in the majors. If you go to 90 pitches in a start, then you should get 4 days of rest. I think that's better because if the pitcher hits the promised land of 10 pitches an inning, then he can go a complete 9 innings. Or if he hits 15, then maybe he can go 7 or somewhere along the lines of 8. I think you can get a higher quality start out of him. But I think you'll rescale it. Something like that is necessary, so it should be interesting to see how it does play out.
Well, and then there's another thing you don't even think about. Some pitchers take longer to warm up before the game and may throw 50 pitches in the bullpen before they even come out on the mound. Some other pitchers may only throw 30 to 35. And every pitcher is different, plus the fact, 2 things. One, you're not giving coaches any credit at all. And I understand. There are some coaches, their only thought of is their personal victory in the dugout. Now, that's a tiny minority of coaches that I've been around. Most coaches are thoughtful. They care about the kids. They're not going to tax the kids. So the coaches, it's like, well, you're not old enough or mature enough or you haven't coached long enough to understand that you need a pitch count. Baloney. And the last thing is that these pitchers, Kyle McGuire he's at the prime condition of this season. He's worked himself since May. They've extended his innings out all the time. They're in condition now to throw more pitches in the end of July than they were at the beginning of May. So, again, this USA Baseball is another one of those entities that really likes to grasp and gain control of different things, and they've certainly sold this to the American Legion, and they've sold it to Major League Baseball. And in all honesty, it's almost like one of these political correctness things right now. If you're against something like this, it's like you're not for the kids and you're not for the kids' health. Baloney to that, too. So we'll see how this works in the tournament, and we'll see what they do next year.
Well, Tom said we're going to track that in our game today, how many 15-pitch innings we have. We're going to be tracking pitch counts. That'll come up in the 9 innings we're about to see between Dickinson and the Hardhats. Both coaches are meeting with the umpires, so I guess that's a better time than any to give the starting lineups for both sides in our 9-inning affair. Once again, the Hardhats are batting in the top halves of our 9 innings of regulation, and the lineup remains unchanged from last night outside of the one pitching change with Kyle McGuire on the mound. So for the Hardhats, leading off is number 11, Walker Paz. He's out at second base. Batting second is number 14, Justin Kramer. He's in the hot corner at third. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman. He's out at shortstop. And in the cleanup positions, number 13, Zach Solano, and he'll patrol right field. Batting fifth is number 28, Zach Sumption. He'll patrol left field. Batting sixth is number 17, Todd Stevens, once again the designated hitter. Batting seventh is number 21, Timmy Parris, the backstopper and catcher. Batting eighth is number 10, Riley McSherry, patrolling center field once again. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot is number 30, Jack Sorensen. He's out at first base. Kyle McGuire gets the nod today for the Hardhats. 56 innings of work under his belt. This will be his 13th start of the season and his 15th appearance. A perfect 9-0 record to defend. A team-leading 57 strikeouts to 41 walks and a microscopic 0.75 ERA. He'll take on the Dickinson Rough Riders in the bottom of our 9 innings today as follows. Leading off is number 7, Tanner Ouellette. He's out at second base. Batting second is number 10, Cameron Jorda. He's in the hot corner at third. Batting third, changing his number up, is number 22, Sam England. He is the backstopper and catcher. And in the cleanup position for Dickinson is number 15, Eli Young. He's out at first base. Batting fifth is number 8, Cody Meyer, patrolling right field for Dickinson. Batting sixth is number 3, Mike McChesney. He'll patrol left field. Batting seventh is number 20, Sean Stoltz. He's the designated hitter today for Dickinson. Batting eighth is number 5, Lucas Jones. He's out at shortstop. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot for Dickinson is number 12, Sean Steffen, and he is patrolling center field. Morgan Wardner, number 9, is on the mound, taking on the Hardhats in this afternoon's start. So Tom and I have extensively talked about this pitch count rule, and we're going to track it as thoroughly as we can for you today. We're going to track not only how many pitches each starter throws, but also how many innings in which they record 15 pitches or less, which obviously becomes a big variable in how this pitch count rule will end up working come the postseason in, hard to believe, just 2 weeks. Well, both lineups are about to make their way to their respective foul lines. The Hardhats have been fully introduced, coaching staff to reserves to starters. They're occupying the first base foul line. And now the Dickinson Rough Riders starting lineup is about to be announced. So it should be an interesting rubber match today between both of these sides. The Hardhats dropped the first game of the doubleheader 6-5, and Tom, that could have easily been changed around with 4 errors committed by Post 22, but then they fired right back with an 11-0 win in 6 innings.
And we look forward to the final 3 regular season games this coming Wednesday and Thursday at Fitzgerald Stadium. Wednesday night will be a 5 o'clock doubleheader this Wednesday night against the Billings Scarlets. That will be senior night. All the senior ball players for Post 22 will be recognized. And then on Thursday morning, an 11 a.m. single game, so the Scarlets can get out of town. The final regular season game of the season. So we look forward to that. The state tournament starts at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City on Wednesday, June 26th. The champion will be crowned on Sunday, June the 30th.
Well, it looks like we're getting ready for the conclusion of our pregame festivities. That includes the performance of the United States National Anthem. So we'll have that. We'll be back with first pitch here in this rubber matchup between the Dickinson Rough Riders and your Post 22 Hardhats in just a moment. We're broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box here from Dickinson, North Dakota at Dakota Community Bank and Trust Ballpark and Astoria Field. You're listening to your Post 22 Hardhats on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Back here at Astoria Field in Dickinson. We're almost set to begin this third and final game of our series here with the Rough Riders. Mark, it's been good to see an old friend of mine who broadcasts for KDIX. I think this is his 44th year. Rod Kleingen here at Dickinson. Boy, we go back a long time with the Blue Hawks of Dickinson State, playing the Hard Rockers, of course, for many, many years. And got to know Hank Bijou, the longtime football coach who retired a few years ago up here in Dickinson, one of the great coaches in NAIA history. And kind of miss seeing these guys when the Hard Rockers stopped playing the Blue Hawks, when the Hard Rockers moved to NCAA Division II. We stopped playing the Blue Hawks, and you miss seeing some of those people you see along the circuit, you know, when you used to go around. Kind of like you do in hockey, you know, you see guys at different arenas on the road, and that's your only contact with them during the year, you know, but it's always good when you see that familiar face. In fact, Rod was the first man we saw when we stepped into the press box here, and what a shock that was.
He seems like a great gentleman, obviously very good at what he does, broadcasting for these Rough Riders and broadcasting for Dickinson State. And you are right, that does happen in hockey a lot, which is why when the schedule comes out and certain road trips aren't scheduled, you get a little lump in your throat and you get a little sad that you don't get to see some of your close friends in this business, because you really do create a bond and an attachment.
I don't know if I would call it an attachment, but you definitely have some good friends that you get to know over the years. Well, Morgan Wardner is the starting pitcher for this Rough Rider team. And he's had a pretty good year for him. He's a right-hander. He's 1-4. He hasn't lost this season. And he comes into the game with an ERA of 2.37. So he's pitched some quality baseball for Dickinson this season.
And he'll take on the top three of the Hardhats batting order in Walker Paz, Justin Kramer, and Cooper Bowman in that order. Surrounding Morgan Wardner on the defensive alignment for the Dickinson Rough Riders is his catcher, Sam England. At first, Eli Young. At second, Tanner Ouellette. Shortstop, Lucas Jones. And in the hot corner at third is Cameron Jorda. Left to right in the outfield, Mike McChesney, Sean Steffen, and Cody Meyer.
And Walker Paz swings at the first pitch and hits a foul down the right field side. And the count is 1 strike. Walker hitting .368 on the season. And takes the pitch from Wardner outside for a ball. And that evens the count off at 1 ball and 1 strike. 3 home runs for Walker, including one yesterday, and 30 RBIs. And the pitch is a strike, and it's 1-2. Underway here at 12:03 this afternoon here in Dickinson, and it's a warm 89 degrees already. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Paz. The pitch on the way is a fastball high and outside. So the count now is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield around to the right on Walker. Here's the pitch. Missed outside, and we have a full count. Walker now leading the team in doubles. He's hit 17 two-baggers on the season. Here's the payoff pitch from Wardner. Swung on and fouled back. Center fielder Steffen is over in right center, and the right fielder Meyer is pulled over near the foul line. Left fielder McChesney is shaded over towards left center. Pitch comes for a ball, and Paz draws a leadoff walk. So Walker down to first base, and it brings up Justin Kramer. Right-handed batting third baseman, now hitting number 2 in the order. Justin at .373 on the season.
24th walk of the season for Walker Paz, so good to see him getting started as he always does in the leadoff spot.
Here's Wardner's pitch, and it's down in the dirt for a ball. 1-0 to Kramer. 3 homers for Justin on the season, 34 RBIs, and has been playing just a magnificent third base defensively here the last month. Here's the set by Wardner now in the pitch. And it's a fastball outside, and it's ball 2 on Kramer.
Don't be surprised if at any point in this sequence Walker Paz takes off for second. Last night the Hardhats were incredibly aggressive on the base path, and Walker led that charge.
And the pitch is high and inside, and the count runs to 3-0 on Kramer. 3:20 down the foul lines here at Astoria Field in Dickinson, and it's 375 to straightaway center. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Low and outside for ball 4. So Paz walks, Kramer walks. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Cooper Bowman. Cooper got that average up over 400 again. He's at 403. 7 home runs and a team leading 60 RBIs. Cooper with 24 stolen bases, also leading the team in 25 attempts.
Well, with Cooper's power, I don't think you're going to see him bunt, but at the same time, don't be surprised. You have a chance to strike first. You have men on first and second, so a bunt could move them over in scoring position. But again, Cooper is such a powerful hitter and such a gifted hitter that I think you might want to see him swing away here.
Here's the set by Wardner and the pitch on the way, and it's a strike on the low outside corner. You know, if this was a first game of the National Regional, you might consider it. When it's tail end of the regular season, you got your best hitter at the plate, first inning. Here's a bluff bunt, runners going, and the throw to third, not nearly in time. Double steal. Paz to third, Kramer to second. And that attempted bluff bunt was only a decoy there. They had the runners going. There wasn't any chance Cooper was going to bunt that ball. 1 ball, 1 strike now. The infield comes halfway up at second and short. And the pitch is swung on, hit to short. A run is going to score. The throw going to first base for the out. Throw back to third, and safe at third base is Kramer. So Cooper Bowman is out short to first, but gets his 61st RBI of the season. And then when the throw went to first base, Kramer took out for third. Post 22 has just done that tremendously this season. Their base running is awesome. Here's Solano taking a fastball outside. So Kramer at third, 1 out, and the infield again almost up to the edge of the grass. Zach hitting .371, team leading 8 home runs, swings and chops a foul down and back, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 57 RBIs, now 4 behind Bowman. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's too low for a ball. 2-1 on Zach with Zach Sumption on deck. And a fastball is high. Three balls and a strike. Kramer off of third, the pitch on the way, and that is a ball down low and inside, and the third walk of the inning for Wardner.
Tom, we talked about earlier how we were tracking pitch count, how we were tracking how many innings in which 15 or pitches or less were accomplished, and right now Wardner's at 19. He's walked 3, he's given up a run, and still no hits. So, again, if this was postseason play, this would play a huge factor at the start of the contest.
And Sumption takes a pitch low and outside for ball 1. Zach at .377, 3 home runs and 34 RBIs. Kramer at third and Solano at first with 1 out. 1 run in. Top of the first. The pitch is high and outside to Sumption, and it's 2-0. Morgan Wardner struggling here in the first inning with his control. 2-0 pitch is swung on, drilled out into right center field. Over goes Steffen to make the catch towards right center. Tagging up and coming home is Kramer. A throw to the plate not in time. It's a sacrifice fly for Sumption and an RBI. Zach's 35th RBI of the year. Kramer scores. Solano holds it first, and it's 2-0 for the Hardhats here in the top of the first inning.
2 runs scored, not a single hit. That just means that the Hardhats are taking advantage of free base runners and knocking them in. First 2 gentlemen of the game, and Paz and Kramer both walked. They've both come across to score, and it's 2-rip.
And when you think you've gotten 2 outs in the inning and both outs have produced runs. And the pitch is outside to Stevens for ball 1. Todd hitting .432. 1 home run, 18 RBIs. Here's the set. There goes the runner to second. Here's the throw to second, and out at second base is Solano. They tried that delayed steal, and Solano is out at second base. So Stevens will be leading off the top of the second. Post 22 scores 2 runs in the inning on no hits, no Dickinson errors, and nobody left on base. First half inning of play, Post 22 2, the Dickinson Rough Riders nothing. And you're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yup. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Kyle McGuire taking the mound. I told Kyle down in the dugout before the game, Kyle, just make him hit the ball in the air to right field, and Walker Paz will catch it on the infield dirt, because that wind is just blowing in tremendously from the south. It's straight in from right field today, and it will definitely hold up any ball hit, even to center field. It's going to make a difference. So
that's a nice cooling breeze for us, that's
yes,
for sure. And for Kyle and his defensive alignment, Kyle has a perfect 9-0 record on the mound. And defensively with the Hardhats, he is surrounded by Timmy Paris, his catcher, Jack Sorensen at first, Walker Paz at second, Cooper Bowman at short, Justin Kramer in the hot corner at third. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sumption, Riley McSherry, and Zach Solano.
They have an oversized flag out in right center, and that is just blowing straight out. It's really whipping in from the south. Not as big as the ones you see at Perkins or something, but bigger than the normal flag you would see at the post office or something. So Kyle pitching to Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman. And the first pitch is fouled back for strike one. Kyle started that very first game of the season back in Spearfish and pitched a whole inning. He's going to be asked to do more than an inning today. The pitch on the way, and it is a strike on the inside corner at the knees, and it's 0-2.
Looking to see more control out of Kyle, because as of recently, he's surrendered more walks than he struck out batters.
No balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch on the way, and it's high and outside, 1-2.
Kyle had a great healthy average going of about 2 strikeouts per walk. Now he's at 57 strikeouts to 41 walks, so he's obviously way under that.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch on the way. Fastball inside, may have been a bit high, and the count all even at 2-2. Kyle, again, his walks are the main issue. Teams are batting only 168 against him this season. That's what's made up for his walk total. Pitch on the way, swung on, bounced to third. And on the turf comes Kramer to field it and tosses to first base to get Ouellette. 1 down here in the bottom half of the first inning for Dickinson. And it brings up Cameron Jorda, the third baseman.
Justin Kramer's been getting every hop that's been hit to him at third. He is so smooth, so comfortable over at third. And we've been calling him the human vacuum cleaner, the Roomba, the 8-pound Oric XL, any vacuum cleaner joke. You can insert it in that sentence. He's just gobbled everything up.
Here's the pitch on the way to Jorda, and it's a strike called. One strike the count on the right-handed batter, third baseman for the Rough Riders, and that pitch is down low, and it squirts through the legs of Timmy Paris. 1 ball, 1 strike. Partly cloudy skies. They're forecasting a high today of around 100 later in the afternoon. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and bounced foul off to the left. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jordan. Outfield is straight away. McSherry, the center fielder today. One ball, 2 strikes as Kyle McGuire swings into his windup, and here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, a ground ball hammered out towards short, fielded by Bowman. Here's his throw to first base, and it's scooped out by Jack Sorensen. 2 up and 2 down in the Dickinson bottom half of the first inning. And it brings up the catcher, Sam England.
That was not an easy scoop there for Cooper Bowman. That was on a short hop, and he snow-coned it. You could even see right in his glove that the ball was just on the top of his glove as if it was a snow cone, but he made a great grasp and an even better throw on the run and a nice scoop by Sorensen to get the second out.
Here's England, the batter, and the pitch on the way. A check swing, and he went too far. Pitch breaking down and away, and it's 1 strike. England, a right-handed batter. 2 outs and the base is empty. Here's the windup by McGuire and the 1-strike pitch. And it is a strike at the letters, and it's 0-2. A 9-inning game here to end this series in Dickinson. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and a soft line drive foul off to the right. Jammed England with that pitch, and it's 0-2. Kyle staring into Paris for the side. Starts his windup, and here's the 0-2. And it's blown outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-0. The Hardhats leading here in the bottom of the first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Check swing, and it's ruled a ball outside, a breaking ball. And it's 2-2. I would say Kyle's at that 15 pitch plus here in the first inning.
He's about to throw number 15.
The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A slider down and away. Strikes out England. First strikeout for McGuire, who has a neat 1-2-3 first inning on 15 pitches. We go to the second. The Hardhats 2, the Rough Riders nothing. Post 22 baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales press box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Post 22 has a 2-0 lead here at the end of the first inning at Dickinson. Again, those final 3 home games. Wednesday night, a doubleheader at 5 o'clock against the Billings Scarlets. Senior night, the senior ball players will be recognized before the second game. And then Thursday at 11 a.m., the Scarlets and the Hardhats to end the regular season. Post 22 playing their 53rd game of the season here today. So if they get all 3 games in Rapid City, they'll have 56 games played during the regular season. And I can only remember 2 rainouts, the game at Bismarck on Friday and the game at home against Gillette.
The elements have been pretty friendly to us this season.
Todd Stevens, the DH, will lead off.
For Rapid City,
He was up when when Solano was caught stealing second. Post 22 got RBIs in that first inning, an infield out by Bowman, and a sacrifice fly by Sumption. So Stevens back into the batter's box and takes a pitch down low for ball one. 4:32 for Todd. And the pitch. Swing and a foul at the plate. 1-1. Coming into the game, Todd had only 44 official at-bats, but he'll be seeing a lot more in the games ahead. England runs the ball back out to his pitcher, Wardner, who did not allow a hit in that first inning, but allowed 3 runs because he walked 3. Post 22 had a double steal in there. And as we said, Bowman's ground out scoring 1 and Sumption's sacrifice fly the other. So they made the most of their outs in that first inning. Here's the pitch to Stevens. And it is a strike on the low inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Timmy Paris on deck. Riley McSherry to follow. Post 22 occupying the first base dugout here. There's a swing and a foul off to the right out of play. Still 1-2 on Stevens. Mitch Messer in the third base coach's box. Jason Hers over at first. Jason also is the pitching coach for Post 22. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Check swing, and it is a ball. They appeal with the first place umpire, and he rules that Stevens swung at it. So they rule Stevens out. Todd puts his hands out like, I can't believe that you thought I swung at that pitch. That's the first strikeout for Wardner, so 1 down in the Post 22 second. Here's Timmy Paris, hitting .285, 3 home runs and 44 RBIs. And the pitch is outside for ball 1.
Unfortunate to see that from Todd. Tom, and I talk about it all the time. I hate the half swing. I hate the check swing. Swing hard and commit to it.
Pitch is high, and it's a ball. It's 2-0. Post 22's team batting average now at .335 coming into the game. The season low. Runs per game still at 9.5. And the pitch is high. Timmy Paris trying to get himself going as the pitch misses outside. No, hits the outside corner for a strike. So it's 3-1 now on Timmy.
Our umpire has a weird delivery when it comes to calling a strike, and what I've listened for is the sound of a car revving up, because that's what he sounds like.
And that pitch misses outside for ball 4. So Paris down to first base with 1 out. And Riley McSherry coming up the center fielder.
Let's do a pitch count comparison here, Tom. Right now, Wardner's at 10 in this inning, 33 overall. Kyle only threw 15 in the first inning. And to compare that, Wardner, 15 of his 23 pitches in the first inning came on his 3 walks. So obviously that helped extend his pitch count.
McSherry swings and lifts the fly ball to right. And Myers under it for the catch. 1 pitch retires Riley McSherry as he flies out to right. Riley was hitting .233 coming into the game. He had only 43 official at-bats. 2 down now, Paris at first base, and it brings up Jack Sorensen, the first baseman, hitting .271. 3 home runs and 31 RBIs.
And I think Riley's going to start to see a higher volume of at-bats as the postseason comes around, too.
Here's the pitch, and it's too high for ball 1. One ball, no strikes. And no throw to first base. Apparently it was not on the rubber. Now the set by Wardner, and the pitch on the way. And it is a ball low and outside, a throw to first by England. And Paris is back. Here's the set and the pitch. And it misses out. No, it's a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. And Wardner from the belt delivers. That's low and outside. 3 balls and a strike. Paris at first with 2 outs here in the top of the second. Post 22 leading 2-0. Here's the set by Wardner, and his pitch is low and outside. So Sorensen walks. So runners at first and second. 2 outs. And Walker Paz will be coming up. And Steve Greenwood's going out to the mound to talk with his pitcher, Morgan Wardner.
That's now 5 bases on balls from Wardner in just those 2 innings, including 2 in this frame alone. He's about to throw his 40th pitch of this start. He threw 23 in the first inning. So this will be number 17 in this inning coming up as he throws to Walker Paz, who he surrendered his first walk of the entire ball game to. So if we're playing this pitch count game right now, Tom, it looks favorable on one side for Kyle McGuire, not so much for Wardner.
So Wardner will stay in. As Greenwood returns to his third base dugout. Walker Paz up. Walker walked and scored in the first inning. Was the front end of a double steal when he stole third base in the first inning. Paris at second, Sorensen at first. And the pitch. And Walker swings and hits a fly ball to right into the teeth of the wind, and Meyer makes the catch to retire the side. So post 22 gets a couple of walks, but leave 2 men on base, and we go to the bottom half of the second. 2-0, the Hardhats have the lead. Post 22 baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Bottom of the second, a 2-0 Hardhat lead over the Rough Riders from Dickinson. Dickinson hosting the Central Plains Regional here, and so they are in the tournament no matter what. The pairings for that are rather interesting. It begins on August the 2nd. The first game of the regional has South Dakota playing Minnesota's runner-up. That's a 10 a.m. start. Second game has Nebraska's runner-up playing Nebraska's champion. The 2 Nebraska teams will meet the first day. Afternoon doubleheader has Iowa playing North Dakota, and then the host team Dickinson will play the Minnesota champion. Eli Young, the first baseman up, left-handed batting cleanup hitter. Kyle McGuire, who threw 15 pitches in that first inning, throws high and outside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. And the pitch on the way. And it's low and outside. 2-0 the count. Balls, no strikes. And McGuire's pitch. Low and outside, 3-0. Kyle is pretty much split fly balls and ground balls, 50% each on the season. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And that's a strike at the knees, and it's 3-1. Young with a 3-1 count as McGuire kicks and throws. Very high for ball 4. So Young has a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the second. Cody Meyer coming up, the right fielder, number 5 hitter, a right-handed batter. Again, they have a turf infield here, complete turf, including the mound. The dirt part of the turf is colored brown with the green turf. Here's the set by McGuire now with Young at first base. The pitch on the way, and that is a ball just outside at the knees. 1-0 the count. Sorensen holding with Young at first base. Kyle's got an excellent move over there, and he throws that one past Sorensen, and it rolls into foul territory, and Young is all the way around second, heading for third. The throw, and he is safe. So on a throwing error by pitcher McGuire, Young is able to race around to third base. And that was not Kyle's good pickoff move, so that's what makes that a little bit hard to swallow, because he was just kind of showing him a half move and threw the ball away. So there's our first error of the game. Post 22 will keep the infield back with a 2-0 lead. 1 ball on Meyer. Here's the windup by McGuire and his pitch. And that's down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch on the way. Up and in for ball 3. 3-0. Mike McChesney, the left fielder, is on deck. And the pitch is a fastball right in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. McGuire had a 1-2-3 first inning, 2 ground outs and a strikeout. Walked the leadoff man here in the second. Behind Meyer, 3-1. Throws, and it's swung on, and a line drive out into center field for a base hit. Young comes in to score, and it's now 2-1. So Dickinson on the board, the first hit of the game for either team. Cody Meyer's RBI single to center, and that brings up Mike McChesney, the left fielder. Right-handed batter. Here's the set by McGuire. They pitch on the way, and it's in the dirt, blocked by Timmy Paris. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the set again by McGuire. Kramer charging in from third. Pitch is chopped up the third base line and foul. Justin was about halfway to the plate when that pitch was delivered, because McChesney had dropped the bat down like he might try to bunt the ball, but took it back and swung at the pitch and chopped it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Meyer off the bag at first as McGuire works from the set. And he'll throw to first base. One and one on McChesney. Infield double play depth. Post 22 turned 3 double plays in their doubleheader last night. And a good breaking ball in for a strike, and it's 1-2. They now have 51 DPs on the season. When you average almost 1 a game in Legion ball, that is very, very good. Here's the set by McGuire. A 1-2 pitch up over his head, and Timmy Paris snares it. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on McChesney. Two to 1, post 22 leading. Dickinson has a run in here in the second. They have a runner at first, nobody out. And the pitch to McChesney is swung on and lined to left field. A base hit over near the foul line goes Sumption to pick the ball up. And he'll hold Meyer at second base. Sumption got to it quickly. So McChesney has a single. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And it brings up Sean Stoltz, the designated hitter. Stoltz, a tall right-handed batter.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a bunt here, Tom. Got a 1-run game. You have 2 men on the base path, a tying run, the go-ahead run, and still no one out.
McGuire's pitch. Ball is bunted towards third. It's a good bunt. McGuire picks it up, turns, fires to first for the out. Good fielding play by McGuire as Stoltz does his job. So a sacrifice moving Meyer to third, McChesney to second, 1 out. And Lucas Jones, the number 8 hitter, the shortstop for Dickinson, coming up. So the Rough Riders have the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at second. 1 out. Infield for post 22 is going to come up about halfway at second and short. Sorensen at first, Kramer at third, up to the edge of the turf. Here's the pitch. And that is a fastball at the knees for a strike to Jones. 0-1 the count. McGuire working out of the windup with runners at second and third. Now he steps off. Here's the set by McGuire. And the pitch. Down in the dirt, the runner was coming home, thinking the ball might have gotten away from Paris, but he scoots back to third. Back into the batter's box, Jones with a count of 1-1. Here's the set by McGuire. A pitch on the way, and that is a strike on the outside corner at the belt. And it's 1-2 now. Strikeout would be big for Kyle here with 1 out. Runners at second and third. He's got 1 strikeout so far. Here's the set by Kyle, and the pitch. Swung on and hit foul off to the right. Count runs along at 1-2 strikes. Yeah, what they call a high sky today. Outfielders are really going to have to be concentrating, picking up the ball off the bat and following it in that high sky. Leading from third is Meyer. McChesney from second. 1-2 pitch. Swung out a ground ball. Base hit to left field through the hole. Meyer scores, and McChesney will check in at third. 2-2 the score as Lucas Jones hits a sharp ground ball single to left field. Third hit of the inning for Dickinson. Boy, I'll tell you, their last couple hitters in this doubleheader last night and today have really done some damage against the Hardhats. Here's Sean Steffen, the center fielder.
Seems to have been a recurring theme. The Hardhats against 7 through 9, it's been pretty tough.
Sean Steffen, the right-handed batting center fielder, up with runners at the corners. Here's the set and the throw to first base. Jones leads from first, McChesney from third. Here's the pitch to Steffen. Swing and a miss. The runner going to second and no throw. The pitch was down and away. It looked like a slider breaking down into the dirt. Steffen swung at the ball and Jones was able to swipe second base. Timmy didn't really have a chance to make a throw because of where the pitch was located. One strike now on Steffen, so the Rough Riders now have runners at second and third here with one out. Bottom of the second. 2-2 the score. Here's the pitch. That bounces to the plate off the chest protector of Paris. Two balls and a strike. Or I should say 1 ball and 1 strike. Now McGuire ready. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's bunted foul off to the right. It looked like the safety squeeze was on. If Steffen could have gotten the ball down on the turf, the runner would have broke from third. That was McChesney. Not the suicide squeeze where the runner will commit. And if you miss the ball, you see a dead duck at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Steffen. Steffen actually swung a pretty good bat last night for Dickinson and a couple of hits. Swing and a miss there, and Kyle gets a big strikeout. No, I'm sorry. Yes, it is strike 3. I didn't know if he had foul tipped it or not. So Kyle gets strikeout number 2, and that's a huge one here. Second out for Dickinson, and it brings up the leadoff man, Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman.
By the way, that was his 25th pitch of the inning, too, so it couldn't have come at a better time to get that second out. So now you just focus on getting this last one and go back to work on offense.
Ouellette grounded out to Kramer at third in the first inning. Right-handed batter hits the ball out to second base. In comes Paz to field it. Flips it to Sorensen for the out. So he gets Ouellette on one pitch to ground out to second, and Dickinson can only tie the game. They had a great chance to take the lead. But they do get 2 runs on 3 hits in the inning, and they leave a couple of men on base. And there was 1 post-22 error. End of 2. 2-2 the score. Post-22 in Dickinson from the Anytime Auto Sales press box. This is ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Two the score after 2 innings of play. As we head to the third inning, post-22 has yet to collect a hit off Morgan Wardner, but they've been the beneficiaries of 5 walks. Justin Kramer, Cooper Bowman, and Zach Solano here in the top half of the third inning. Kramer walked and scored in the first inning. And the pitch. Bunted towards third. That's going to be a base hit. A bunt single for Kramer. Beautifully placed up the third base line. The first hit of the game for post-22.
If you ever need to get something started and he's in the leadoff position, the bunt single is the easiest way to get your momentum going. Now it takes that goose egg in the hit column off the board. Now you don't have to worry about trying to force a hit. You've got a guy on first, his wheels, his intelligence as a base runner, and now Cooper Bowman's up.
Here's Bowman, who grounded out to short, got an RBI in the first, and bunts the pitch foul back to the screen. 1 strike. Cooper trying to bunt for a base hit. You know, we were talking earlier in the season, I suppose, about the first half of the season. We were talking about the home runs and the home run record, you know, and that certainly has cooled off here over the last month or so. Runner going, the pitch is low and outside to throw to second, not in time. It's a stolen base for Kramer. So he'll be at second now with nobody out and a 1-1 count on Bowman. Post 22, 39 home runs going into the game today, and I think they've only hit like 7 in their last 25 games. There's a line drive foul down the left field line by Bowman, and it's 1-2. So the power numbers have certainly dropped. As again, it's not unexpected. The pitching we've seen has been better over the last 3 to 4 weeks. This team has played a lot of games here in the last 3+ weeks. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball to second, fielded by Ouellette. The runner advances to third as Bowman has a productive out, grounding out second to first, but Kramer advancing to third now with 1 out. Good at bat there for Cooper to move Kramer to third. Here's Zach Solano now, who walked in the first inning. We're tied 2-2 here in the top half of the third. The infield is coming up all the way around for the Rough Riders. And Zach drives this one to center. Tagging up is Kramer. Backing off is Steffen. That'll score Kramer as Justin trots home with the go-ahead run. Solano's 58th RBI of the season on a sacrifice fly to center. And Cooper's ground ball out, helping to produce that run. 2 outs, nobody on, and a 3-2 post-22 lead now here in the top of the third inning. And Zach Sumption looks at a strike. Zach, a sacrifice fly, his first at bat to right center. And the pitch bounces to the plate. It's 1-1 on Sumption. So both Cooper and Zach Solano have RBIs in the game. 61 now for Bowman, 58 for Solano. There's a check swing and no swing, says the first base umpire. 2-1 on Sumption. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch. And that's in there for a strike. Evens the count off at 2-2. And the pitch. Swing and a foul off the end of the bat. Count runs along at 2-2. The bunt single to start this inning for Kramer. He then stole second, went to third on an infield out by Bowman, and scored on the sacrifice fly by Solano. Pitch is low outside to Sumption now, and we have a full count. And the pitch is low for ball 4, and Sumption walks. There is the 6th walk given up by Morgan Wardner. Zach Sumption down to first, and Todd Stevens coming up. Stevens struck out to start the second. Sumption takes his lead, and the pitch. Low and outside, ball 1 on Stevens. What's the pitch count for Wardner?
So he's at 54 right now, which means he has 14 in this inning already.
And we're in the third inning, so he's pitched 2 2/3 innings. Here's the pitch. Swung out, a slow roller left of the mound, fielded by Wardner. His throw to first is high, but pulled down by Young, and he comes down in the bag for the out. Pitcher to first to get Todd Stevens. A run for post 22 on 1 hit, and they leave a man on. 2.5 innings. Post 22 3, Dickinson 2. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Cameron Jorda will lead off for Dickinson here in the last half of the third inning. Kyle McGuire struggled in the second. He had a 1-2-3 first. Pitched to 7 hitters in the second inning. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. Had a walk. Ooh, Jimmy Paris almost caught Kyle with his throw down to second base.
Tad bit too close for comfort on the you'll throw to second.
So Kyle enters the third inning of work with how many pitches?
So he's at 41 through 2. He had 15 in the first in that 1-2-3 inning you were talking about. He had 26 in the second where he ran into some trouble. So he's averaging just about 20 and a half pitches an inning right now. And like you were talking about, if he stays on that average, he might be able to start 4, but that's all he got.
And the first pitch is down low and inside to Jorda for ball 1. Jorda grounded out to short. His first at bat. Here's the pitch on the way. And a fastball is high, and it's 2-0. Two balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. And that's a strike, a fastball over the inside edge, and it's 2-1 on Jorda, the third baseman for Dickinson. Number 2 hitter in their lineup. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And that ball misses inside. It goes to 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's a full count.
A nice off-speed pitch there from Kyle. Jorda was way ahead of that swing.
Payoff pitch here from McGuire to Jorda. Kyle winds and delivers. Low ball 4. So McGuire issues his second walk. Sam England coming up, the number 3 hitter, the catcher. He struck out in the first inning, struck out swinging against McGuire. 3-2, the Hardhats leading. Dickinson with the leadoff man on here in the last half of the third. Here's the set by McGuire in the pitch. Bunted at the plate and foul. 1 strike. England steps back into the batter's box here with a count of 1 strike. Here's the set by Kyle and the pitch. Ball is bunted foul back to the no foul, and it was just a pitch up, and it was bunted at by England, who didn't bunt at that pitch very well. It was a jab attempt.
I could have sworn it sounded like he made some kind of contact. That must have gone off of Timmy's glove then.
Yeah, there's no protest by post 22, so it's a pass ball and a runner at second base. And it's a 2-strike count on England, who takes that pitch low and inside, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to count. Here's the set. And the pitch. Swung on, bounced towards third. In comes Kramer on the turf to field it. Guns it to Sorensen for the out. Over to third goes Jorda. Third to first to get England. One out for Dickinson now. The tying run at third. The cleanup hitter, Eli Young, coming up, the first baseman.
Again, Tom, that was a very interesting sequence because you heard the ball deflect off of something, and with these composite bats, the sound sounds dead. It's not the normal tink that you would get off the aluminum bats back in the day. So interesting, because I could have sworn that was foul, but obviously the umpire has the better view and the better ears down there.
And Young takes a pitch strike on the outside corner. Young walked and scored in the second inning. Post 22 with a 3-2 lead here in the last half of the third inning. The infield is up only about a third of the way at second and short. And the pitch is high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Young. Dickinson with a 21-10 record going into the game today. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball strike at the knees, and it's 1-2. So McGuire works ahead of Young. Jorda at third with 1 out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, sliced foul off to the left. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This next pitch coming from Kyle is number 15 on the inning here. That pitch counts up. It'll be 56 after this next throw.
1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, line to left field, and it's in for a hit. Ties the game. Young with an opposite field single. Jorda scoring to make it a 3-3 game here in the last half of the third inning. And that's hit number 4 for Dickinson in the game.
Well, this is a normal trend you and I see here, Tom. The leadoff man got on with a base on balls, and he scored with that base on balls 2 innings in a row now. Eli Young was the beneficiary of the first one back in the bottom of the second. Cameron Jorda gets things started here in the bottom of the third.
Cody Meyer takes a wild pitch. The pitch was about 2 feet over his head and 2 feet in back of him. And a wild pitch sends Eli Young to second.
Kyle tried to go with that breaking pitch because you could see the break in the ball, and it just sailed on him. That's just an unfortunate miscue there for the Hardhats.
1 ball on Meyer. Here's the set by McGuire. The 1-0 pitch, swung on, pop foul off to the right out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Three here in the last half of the third. This game kind of resembles game 1 last night. Pitch on the way, and it misses low and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the set by McGuire. The pitch on the way. Swung on, and a high fly ball down the left field line. It's deep. It's in the corner. It is a foul ball. Long foul by Meyer. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Big moment here for Kyle because he needs the second out, and he just threw a 60th pitch. So 15 left before that starts to become a factor with the new postseason rules we're going to deal with here.
And again, you can pitch more than 75
sure.
pitches. I mean, you could pitch 120 in a day, but it's just that you would not be able to pitch for 4 days if you pitch more than 75. And the pitch is high to Meyer, and we have a full count.
Which, as you would put it in perspective the other day, if you pitch game 1 and you go over 75 and stay at a regional play, you're done for the tournament, essentially.
Yep. Here's a pickoff play at second base. It bounces off the base. It rolls into shallow left center, but hanging on is Young at second base. He had a notion to head on to third, but Cooper Bowman was able to get to the ball quickly. So no harm done. McGuire has a throwing error earlier in this game, in the second on a pickoff attempt at first. 3-2 here on Meyer. The go-ahead run at second for Dickinson with one out here in the last half of the third inning. McGuire from the stretch. He delivers. Swing and a miss at a good fastball there, and Meyer strikes out. Third strikeout for McGuire. 2 down here in the Dickinson third, and it brings up Mike McChesney, the left fielder.
Very big second out there for Kyle. Now you've got to get back into attack mode, get this last one, get your team back on offense. Every time Dickinson scored, you've responded, so you have to just get off the field right now and return the favor in the top of the fourth.
McChesney singled to left. His first at bat. Leading from second now with 2 outs is Young. As McGuire delivers. And that pitch is in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Looks like Zach Cholas is going down to start throwing in the bullpen for post 22. Eberline and Cholas were the ones in relief for the game today. Stepping off is McGuire. Stepping out is McChesney. So McGuire with a 1-strike count on McChesney. From the stretch, he delivers. Swung on and lined foul down the left field line. McChesney way out in front of that pitch, and it's 0-2. Rapid City scored 2 in the first. Dickinson 2 in the second. Post 22 scored in the top of the third to take the lead. Here in the last of the third, Dickinson's tied it. And a 2-out chance to take the lead. Here's the set now by Kyle. And his pitch on the way. Swinging a foul back. Still 2 strikes to count. McChesney with a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the set by McGuire. The pitch on the way, and it's poked foul off to the right. So McChesney a tough out here. It's still 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes. Outfield is straight away. Now the batter calls time as McChesney steps out. Now McGuire ready again with a 2-strike pitch. It's on the way. Up over his head for a ball. It's 1-2. Three is the score. Last half of the third inning. This is a 9-inning game. We might be with you fans for a long time this afternoon. You could take a nap, still come on, pick up the latter part of the game. There's a pop-up. McGuire's going to run into foul territory and catch this ball, and he does, about 15 feet foul. halfway up towards third base. So Kyle McGuire takes care of that third out himself. 1 run for Dickinson ties the game on 1 hit. No Rapid City errors, 1 man left on base. So we've completed 3. Post 22 comes to bat in the 4th. Hardhats 3, Rough Riders 3. From the Anytime Auto Sales press box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, exactly 1/3 of the ball game has been completed, and Post 22 is in quite the duel right now with the Dickinson Rough Riders. 3s on either side of the scoreboard through 3 innings of play. As Tom and I mentioned earlier, we'll play a full 9 in this rubber matchup between the Rough Riders and the Hardhats. Numbers across the board through 3 innings. For Post 22, it's 3 runs on a hit with 1 error on defense. On the other side for Dickinson, it's 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action here in Dickinson. Our final game of 3 to be played between both of these teams. This is the site of the 2017 and 2018 Central Plains Regional Tournaments. The Hardhats looking to get back to the regionals for a 5th consecutive year, which means they would win their 5th straight state championship and their 42nd overall in program history. Timmy Paris will lead off the top half of the 4th against Morgan Wardner, and his first pitch is outside for a ball. Paris walked in his first at-bat. He'll be followed by Riley McSherry and Jack Sorensen. 1-0 misses low to the Hardhats catcher, and it's 2-0. Paris last night went 1 for 3 with 2 RBI hits. And he'll look at ball 3. It's 3-0. Riley McSherry, the center fielder's on deck. Wardner right back to it. 3-0 to Paris is a called strike at his belt. And it's 3-1. Jimmy Paris now taking his time, steps back in the batter's box. Wardner's 3-1. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to right center field. Underneath it is Meyer. He's going to give way to the center fielder, Steffen, and he makes the catch. Steffen called him off at the last second, but he retires Paris. It'll be 1 up and 1 down for the Hardhats here in the top of the 4th. And that'll bring us to the center fielder, Riley McSherry. McSherry, the center fielder, is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field. I was back in the top of the 2nd. His first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. He'll be followed by Jack Sorensen, who walked in his first trip to the batter's box. Wardner has 6 walks in this start. 1-0 to McSherry, misses outside. 2-0. So only 1 strikeout. So Wardner's been all over the zone. Next pitch to McSherry. Swung on and it's hit in the gap between third and short and into left for a base hit. So Riley McSherry picks up only the 2nd hit of the ball game for Post 22. It's his first of this afternoon's contest. So there's a man on first with 1 out, and that'll bring us to Jack Sorensen. Jack Sorensen walked in his first trip to the batter's box, and he looks at ball 1 outside. 1-0 the count. Don't forget our final 3 games of the regular season. This Wednesday and Thursday against the Billings Scarlets. Senior night's on Wednesday, and then we'll have a Thursday night afternoon game to close out regulation play. Before you know it, the week after, it's the state tournament. And hopefully the week after that, the Hardhats are playing for a chance to go to the World Series and the regionals the next week. 1-0 to Sorensen. Runner goes. Pitch is high for ball 2. Throw to second is not in time. So Riley McSherry steals second. Got his afterburners turned on. 2 balls, no strikes the count here to Sorensen with a man in scoring position, and McSherry's now the go-ahead run. So 2-0 to the Hardhats first baseman. He has McSherry on scoring position across from him in second. And the 2-0's low and away for ball 3. 3-0 the count here to Sorensen. Played first base all weekend with Luke Ferdinand out of the lineup celebrating his brother's wedding. 3-0. Skips before home play. That's ball 4. So Sorensen walks. That's the 7th walk issued by Wardner. That puts men on first and second, and it'll bring up Walker Paz. Paz on the ballgame looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 1, walked, stole a base on a double steal, came around to score the first of what are currently 3 Hardhats runs. Flew out to right his last time up. Paz has the go-ahead run on second, and a man on first. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. 3s on either side of the scoreboard between the Rough Riders and the Hardhats. First pitch to Paz. He shows bunt, and he drops it down the third base line, and it just rolls foul. Sam England, the catcher, the patience of his saint, waited for that ball to cross the line, and it's 0-1 to Paz. Very well-placed bunt, just squeaked foul. So no balls and a strike to count to the Hardhats second baseman. We're back at the top of the Hardhats order now. McSherry goes, and they throw the pitch in, and both gentlemen will take the base. McSherry was dead to rights, and instead they threw home. And the pitch is inside, 1-1. And now it's 2 men in scoring position here for Paz. That was very awkward. 1-1 to Paz, misses up high. 2-1 now the count. It was very confusing because if they'd thrown to third, they would have had Riley. Instead, he pitched. Both gentlemen left. 2-1, swung on it. That ball's pulled into right for a base hit. Meyer comes in to field it. McSherry's going to score. They're giving Sorensen the green light. He's rounding third. He's going to come in and score. A 2-run RBI single for Walker Paz with 1 out here in the top of the 4th, and the Hardhats are back on top. Their lead is 5-3. So how crucial was that awkward exchange with the double steal? So Justin Kramer's now up following a 2-run RBI single with 1 out here for Walker Paz. It'll be a man on first, and it's a 5-3 Hardhats lead in what has been a back-and-forth affair this afternoon. First pitch to Kramer. Called strike. Outside corner, and it's 0-1. Kramer, 1 for 1, a bunt, and a walk. He's come around to score twice. He has 2 stolen bases under his belt. Here's his 0-1, but time's called just as Wardner's about to throw. So we still have yet to see the 0-1 pitch here to Kramer. 0-1. Misses low and away, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Cooper Bowman on deck, 0 for 2 with an RBI groundout under his belt. And the 1-1. Misses low and inside, 2-1 now to Kramer. Paz is on first with a 2-run RBI single with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. That hit has given the Hardhats a 5-3 lead. Paz goes. They've got him caught again. The throw to first not in time. So Paz made it back. Tried to execute that delayed steal, but Wardner was privy to it. 2 balls and a strike to count. And Paz is still on first with 1 out. Kramer in the batter's box. And Wardner deals. Pitch is swung on. It's hit high in the air to left. Mike McChesney is underneath it. Trots and he makes the catch. So that'll be the second out of this top half of the 4th inning. As Kramer's retired F8. Paz will stay on first. 2 down, and that'll bring up Cooper Bowman. Bowman, the hard hat shortstop, 0 for 2. An RBI ground out in the top of the first. Gave the Hard Hats their first lead. Grounded out to second in the top of the third. First pitch. Runner goes. It's low and away, and the throw to second is off track and not in time. So Paz, second stolen base of the ball game, and the count is 1-0 to Bowman. Zach Solano's on deck if we get that far. If not, 7, 8, 9 are due up for Dickinson in the bottom half of this fourth inning. 1-0 to Bowman, misses low, and it's 2-0. Solano a sac fly RBI the last time he was up. He also walked, so he's yet to get a hit in this ballgame. 2-0, a called strike at the belt of Bowman, and it's now 2 balls and 1 strike to the Hard Hat shortstop. Hard Hats have a 5-3 lead here in the top of the fourth thanks to a 2-run RBI single by Walker Paz. 2 outs, Paz is on second with that stolen base. And the next pitch to Bowman misses above his letters, and it's 3-1. Wardner's dealt 7 walks. He's a pitch away from potentially number 8. 3-1 to Bowman. High and away, ball 4. And there is the 8th free pass by Morgan Wardner, the starter, for Dickinson. So it's men on first and second now, still with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. And it brings us to Zach Solano. Solano had a great game last night in Game 2. 2 for 3. An RBI triple and a single under his belt. He scored twice. His first pitch, a called strike at his knees, outside corner. And he's behind 0-1. Hard Hats right fielder has Cooper Bowman on first and Walker Paz on second. A base on balls and a sac fly RBI, and this pitch is swung on and it's hit down the first baseline, but foul. And quickly Solano's behind 0-2. Ball was fouled just off the end of his bat. Looked like it was going to stay fair for a decent bit, and then it rolled over the first baseline. So no balls, 2 strikes to count here to Solano. If he's the last out, 7, 8, and 9 are scheduled to hit in the bottom half of the fourth for Dickinson. If not, Zach Sumption's on deck. Bowman on first, Paz on second with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. 0-2 to Solano. Misses high and away, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. One-two from Wardner. Swung on, and that ball is hit into left field for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Walker Paz. The ball's misfielded, though, by Mike McChesney. Heading to third's Bowman. Heading to second is Solano. And Zach Solano knocks in another run. It'll be an RBI single and an error charged to McChesney. And it's now 6-3 Hard Hats with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up Zach Sumption. So it'll be an RBI single for Solano. He'll advance on the E7. Bowman will also advance to third on the E7. And Paz will score. So the Hard Hats get their 3rd run of the inning on their 3rd hit. Zach Sumption has 2 men in scoring position with a chance to really blow this open. And it looks like we're getting a pitching change. So Wardner's start has come to an end.
Colton Jones is coming in. He was warming up in the bullpen for Dickinson, so he's had some warm-up pitches, and he'll be coming in here to replace Wardner.
So Wardner only goes 3 2/3 innings. He threw 84 pitches in the start. Only struck out 1, but he walked 8. He's given up 6 runs on 4 hits, and all of his runs were earned. And he's still responsible for the 2 gentlemen on the base path. So those numbers can be taken up to 8 if he's not careful. So Colton Jones comes in for Morgan Wardner. And he will face Zach Sumption, who has a sac fly RBI and also walked in this contest.
Colton Jones is a 17-year-old right-hander coming in to pitch for Dickinson. Rough Riders playing their final home game of the season here today. They close out on the road next week. Post 22 closes out at home.
Still crazy to believe that the regular season's almost over. I just can't grasp my head around it. It's nuts.
We'll talk on the way home on the bus. I can give you some therapy. Maybe you can wrap your head around it then.
Yeah, I could wrap my head around it then.
No, May 3rd was the first game, and today is July the 16th?
Yep.
So it's been almost exactly, 2.5 months?
Yeah, just about. Zach Sumption steps into the batter's box. Men on second and third. Bowman's 90 feet to his left on third. Solano across the diamond from him on second. Colton Jones now in relief for Dickinson. And his first pitch is a called strike to Sumption. 0-1 to the Hardhats left fielder. A sac fly RBI in the top of the first. A base on balls in the top of the third. Here's his 0-1. Missed outside, and the count will even up at a ball and a strike. If Sumption keeps the inning going, Todd Stevens, the DH, is on deck. The Hardhats will have batted through the order at that point. 1-1. Breaking pitch doesn't break down upstairs. 2-1. Two balls and a strike to count from Colton Jones to Zach Sumption. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and it's ripped foul third base side, and the count will even up at 2-2. Jones in the ballgame in relief from Morgan Wardner, who went 3 2/3 innings. 6 runs allowed, could potentially be 8 because he's responsible for the 2 gentlemen on the bases. 4 hits, 1 strikeout to 8 walks on 84 pitches. 2-2 to Sumption. Swung on, and it's pushed first base side, and it's just foul. And the count will hold even at 2-2. That was awfully close. Bowman on third, Solano on second. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Sumption with 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Hardhats with a 6-3 lead. Jones deals 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that'll do it. So it's the first strikeout in relief for Jones, and he ends the threat. But the Hardhats deal some serious damage. It's 3 runs on the power of 3 hits. There was 1 error charged to Dickinson, and there were 2 men left on the base path in scoring position for post 22. We've played 3.5 out of 9, post 22, with 3 runs in this inning. Now has a 6-3 advantage over Dickinson. 7, 8, 9 are due up in the bottom half of the fourth, and Zach Cholis will take over for Kyle McGuire. We'll be back with his numbers and more here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Well, Kyle McGuire's start has come to an end after just 3 innings, in which he threw 68 pitches, 3 runs allowed, all earned on 4 hits, with a trio of strikeouts to a pair of walks. And he'll now give way to Zach Cholis, who was supposed to start off this entire road trip in Bismarck, but the game got rained out. Cholis comes in with 20 innings of work under his belt and what are soon to be 8 appearances. This is his 3rd in relief. He has a perfect 4-0 record. 26 strikeouts to 14 walks, 7 hit batsmen, and a 3.85 ERA. And the last time we saw him was one of the last games of the Gopher Classic, where he started off very well, but in his final inning of that start, he ran into a little bit of trouble.
Teams are batting only 154 against Cholis this season.
Cholis will start off with 7, 8, 9 in the Dickinson order. That'll be Sean Stoltz, the DH, who hit into a sacrifice bunt. Lucas Jones, the shortstop, an RBI single, and Sean Steffen, who was the second of 3 Kyle McGuire strikeouts. 3.5 innings in the books. Post 22 has a 6-3 lead to protect. Numbers across the board through 3.5 for the Hardhats in the driver's seat. 6 runs on 4 hits with an error. And on the other side for Dickinson, it's 3 runs on 4 hits with an error as well.
Looking at Zach's statistics here, Mark, he's averaging about 17 pitches per inning. So there's an average that, he couldn't pitch 5 innings if he pitched just his average pitches per inning.
You're absolutely right on that. And heck, we're putting Kyle's statistics into perspective here. 68 pitches, and he couldn't even get out of 3. So here comes Sean Stoltz, the DH. Sacrifice bunt in his first plate appearance. And he looks at a called strike from Cholis on a fastball outside corner. Cholis, the lefty, against Stoltz, the right-handed DH. Here's the 0-1 from Cholis. Swung on and missed. Took some speed off of that pitch, 0-2.
Zach really struggled in a start down in Denver in early June. And since then has really pitched pretty good baseball since getting a second chance.
0-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3 on the inside corner. And Zach Cholis fans the first batter he sees. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Lucas Jones, the shortstop. It's a nice pitch on the inside corner. Had some movement to it, too. Lucas Jones, 1 for 1. A ribby single back in the bottom of the second. And his first pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. Apparently 5 strikes on the scoreboard here. Never seen a count like that before. Here's the 1-0. That's a called strike on the outside corner, and the count evens up at 1-1. Ball and a strike the count. And the pitch swung on and fouled to the meshing behind home plate, and it's 1-2. So Cholis looking for his second strikeout and as many batters in relief here in the bottom of the 4th. Hardhats have a 6-3 lead over the Rough Riders. They're looking to keep it that way. Full windup for Cholis. Here's his 1-2. Swung on. Ball is hit up the middle and into center for a base hit. So Lucas Jones on a 1-2 pitch singles up the middle. So it'll be 1 out and a man on first. That brings up Sean Steffen, the center fielder. Steffen in the ballgame 0 for 1. He was the second of 3 Kyle McGuire strikeouts. Man on first for Cholis to work with and 1 out. Steffen showed bunt, but he pulled back as the pitch was inside, and it's 1-0. Steffen patrolling center field on defense for Dickinson. He's had a couple of putouts today. Here's his 1-0 pitch from Cholis. He shows bunt. He drops it down the third base line. Kramer barehands it. Throw to first is in time. So it'll be a sacrifice bunt for Steffen. 5-3 in the book on the sacrifice. That moves Lucas Jones to second. It'll be 2 down with a man in scoring position, and that'll bring us back to the top of Dickinson's order to Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman. It was 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. 1 to Kramer at third, 1 to Paz at second. If Ouellette is the last out, Todd Stevens, the DH, will lead off the top half of the 5th. Here's the first pitch. Called strike outside corner, and it's 0-1 to the Dickinson second baseman. No balls and a strike to count. 4th batter, Cholis is faced in relief. 0-1. Called strike at the knees of Ouellette, and it's 0-2. Cholis is a pitch away from 2 Ks and the end of 4 innings. Wind is blowing out towards left field. That could play a factor here for Ouellette, the right-handed batter, privy to pull the ball to left. 0-2 from Cholis. Just mitched up high. And the count to ball and 2 strikes. If Ouellette keeps the inning going, then Cameron Jordan, the third baseman's on deck. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Ball and 2 strikes. Chola steals. Upstairs, and it's 2-2. Ouellette's batted leadoff the entire weekend. Went 0 for 2 with 2 Ks in Game 2. 2 for 4 in Game 1 yesterday. 2-2 pitch. Up high again, and then the count goes full. So Ouellette, who is down 0-2, has the string officially pulled out here. Full count from Zach Cholas, the lefty. Man on second and 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. It's a 6-3 Hardhats lead. Cholas looking to keep it that way in relief. Payoff pitch to Ouellette. Swung on. Ball's hit to the right side of the infield. Pause the stop at second. The throw to first in time. And that will do it. So Ouellette goes 0 for 3 with a pair of groundouts to second and 1 to third. That'll end 4 innings of play. No runs on a hit with no errors. Charged to post 22 and a man left on the base path. He was in scoring position. We've played 4 here in Dickinson, and post 22 maintains their 6-3 advantage over the Rough Riders. Top of the 5th coming up. Todd Stevens will lead us off, the DH. We'll be back with his at-bat and more in just a few moments. You're on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Only one defensive change for Dickinson starting off the top half of the 5th. Tanner Ouellette, the second baseman, has watched his afternoon come to an end. And Ethan Dietz, number 2, will come into his stead. So Ethan Dietz will take over at second. Tanner Ouellette went 0 for 3 in the ballgame offensively. Played very well at second. But his afternoon comes to its conclusion. Colton Jones, who was on the mound in relief, will maintain his relief status. And he'll start off with 6, 7, and 8 in the Hardhats batting order here in the top of the 5th. And that starts with Todd Stevens. His first pitch is hit right to Dietz, who took over for Ouellette, and his throw to first is in time. So 4-3 in the scorebook on just one pitch here for Jones to start off the top of the 5th. 1 up, 1 down brings up Timmy Paris. Hardhats catchers 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly out to center field to Sean Steffen. So Ethan Dietz already off the hop, seeing some action at second base. First pitch from Jones to Paris. Misses low and away for ball 1. Paris will be followed by Riley McSherry. With Todd Stevens as the leadoff man who has retired, those are the 3 gentlemen scheduled to hit in this top half of the 5th. Next pitch to Paris. Again, misses low and away, and it's 2-0. Numbers across the board through 4+ now. For the Hardhats, 6 runs on 4 hits with an error, and for Dickinson, 3 runs on 5 hits with an error. Top of the 5th, 1 out, no one on, and Paris looks at his 2-0 count. Balloon to 3-0 as that pitch is high and outside. He's already walked once in this ballgame. And his 3-0 pitch, called strike outside corner at his knees, and it's 3-1. Riley McSherry on deck, 1 for 2, a single, stolen base, and a run scored. Here's the 3-1 from Jones. Swung on, and that ball is pushed into right field. Meyer comes in, and the ball will drop in front of him for a base hit. So Timmy Paris gets his first hit of the ball game. He's 1 for 2 on the day. So with 1 out, there's a man on first, and that'll bring us to Riley McSherry. McSherry, the center fielder, 1 for 2. Again, a single, a stolen base, a run scored. All 3 of those came in the top of the 4th. His first at-bat in the top of the 2nd was a fly out to right. Man on first and 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Check to first isn't there in time. And Timmy's not taking that big of a lead anyway, so it's easy for him to get back.
Boy, Timmy's attracted more attention at first base today from the catcher and a couple of pickoff attempts than by pitchers.
First pitch to McSherry. He shows bunt, and he fouls it. So he's behind 0-1. It's a very interesting observation. It's got a lot of traffic over there at first. No balls to strike the count here to Riley McSherry. He showed bunt on his first pitch, and he fouled it. See if he goes back to it again. Another check to first, and Paris is back. Does Timmy have a stolen base this season? I don't think he does.
0 for 0.
Next pitch to McSherry, misses outside. His count evens up at a ball and a strike.
Apparently the pitcher doesn't want it to be his first on him.
1-1 the count here to McSherry. Paris, very modest lead off of first. Here's the 1-1. And the runner's going to go, and the throw to second is not in time. And Timmy Paris gets his first stolen base of the year. And he's on scoring position with a 2-1 count to McSherry. Oh, there it is, number 1. That's awesome. Good on Timmy. Good to get those wheels moving. Unhitch the plow, and there he goes. Next pitch to McSherry is low. Paris hangs on at second. 1 for 1, didn't want to go for 2 for 2, and it's 3 balls and a strike. That's the most excited I've been to see a stolen base this season. 3-1 the count here to McSherry. And Jones deals. That may have hit him. That was inside. No, they're going to say it was ball 4. So that's another walk issued by this Dickinson pitching staff. That's 9 total, and the first surrendered by Colton Jones in relief. So a man on first and second with 1 out, and that'll bring us to the 9-hole hitter, Jack Sorensen, who's walked twice. He scored the last time he made it to the base path. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. It's a 6-3 Hardhats lead. 3 runs in the top of the 4th allowed them to separate themselves from Dickinson, and the first pitch to Sorensen's a called strike inside. 0-1 the count to the Hardhats first baseman. Paris is on second, his first stolen base of the season under his belt. McSherry on first. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, and that ball's hitting to left field for a base hit. Timmy Paris gets the stop sign at third. Riley McSherry will advance to second. So Jack Sorensen, who walked twice in the ballgame, gets his first hit with 1 out. That will load up the bases, and it brings us back to the top of the order to Walker Paz. Walker Paz, 1 for 2 in this ballgame. A walk, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, and a 2-run RBI single the last time he was up. His first pitch misses low and away. No, sorry, that's a strike. Outside corner for an 0-1 start. 0-1 to Paz. And on Colton Jones, the pitcher, and the 0-1. Misses low and inside, and the count will even up at a ball and a strike. Sorensen's on first. McSherry's on second. Paris is on third. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, and that ball's hitting to right field. It'll drop for a base hit. Paris is going to come in and score. McSherry gets the green light. He'll come in and score. Stumbling, though, on second was Jack Sorensen, so that's all he's going to get. So it's a 2-run RBI single, the second one of the ballgame for Walker Paz, and the Hardhats lead is now 8-3 with men on first and second, and 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
4 RBI afternoon for Walker in that leadoff spot for post 22. Gives him 34 RBIs on the year.
That'll now bring us to Justin Kramer. He shows bunt, but he fouled it off of home plate. And it's 0-1 to start off his count. Kramer's 1 for 2, a walk, a bunt single, 2 runs scored, 2 stolen bases. He flew out the last time he was up, and he has men on first and second to work with. Like I said, he's already bunted for a hit, and he's tried to on that first pitch there. Sorensen on second, Paz on first. Throw to second is to the shortstop, who was not covering the bag, so it was just an easy toss. Sorensen was a little mad at himself. He tried to turn and go for 3, but he tripped on second base, so that's all he got when Paz got his single. 0-1 to Kramer. Swung on, and that ball is turned on, but it's foul, left field side and out of play. And it's quickly 0-2 to the Hardhats' third baseman. There's 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The Hardhats have played at 2, and they've scored in 3 consecutive innings. 8-3 is now their lead. Colton Jones from the stretch to Kramer. 0-2 pitch. Misses low, and it's 1-2. Cooper Bowman, the shortstop, on deck. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI ground out. He'll be up if a double play doesn't end the inning. 1-2 to Kramer. Swung on it, it's fouled. That'll go out of play to the right of our press box, and it's still 1-2. Walker Paz on first. Back-to-back 2-run RBI singles for him in this game. He's 2 for 3. Jack Sorensen on second. Next pitch is swung on, and it's a slow roller to third. Making the plays, Jorda, his throw to first is in time. So everybody will advance a base, but Kramer's retired. So Paz is on second, Sorensen's on third. 2 outs, and that'll bring us to Cooper Bowman. Bowman on the ball game, 0 for 2. RBI ground out in his first plate appearance in the top of the 1st. Ground out to second in the top of the 3rd. He walked in the top of the 4th. First pitch to Bowman, a called strike, fastball inside, and it's 0-1. Zach Solano's on deck if Bowman can keep the inning going. There's the 0-1. That misses low, and it skips away from England, the catcher. And going home to score is Jack Sorensen. And the Hardhats now have a 9-3 lead with a man on third and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Back-to-back innings in which they've played at 3. So Walker pauses on third. And a ball and a strike here to Bowman with a man 90 feet to his left. Pitch is high and inside to Bowman, and it's 2-1. Zach Solano on deck. He's 1 for 1. A walk, a sac fly RBI, and an RBI single. 2-1 to Bowman. Inside, and it's 3-1. He's a pitch away from what would be the 10th walk surrendered by Dickinson pitching today. 8 to the starter, Morgan Wardner. And Colton Jones already has 1 under his belt. 3-1 pitch is fouled third base side, and now the count goes full. If Bowman's the last out, then 2, 3, and 4 are due up in the bottom half of this 5th for Dickinson. If not, Zach Solano will make a 4th trip to the batter's box. Payoff pitch to Bowman. Low and inside, ball 4. So Bowman draws his 2nd walk, and the throw came back to the mound, but was a slow throw, and Walker Paz takes home, and it's now 10-3. Wow.
Well, that's our 2nd steal of home we've seen in this series by Post 22.
Last one going to Zach Solano, I believe. Throw to first isn't there in time, so Bowman's back. Speaking of Solano, he's up with a man on first and 2 outs. First pitch to Solano. Almost hit him in the bucket. And he has a 1-0 count to work with. Solano, 1 for 1. A walk in the top of the first. Sac fly RBI, top of the third. RBI single, top of the fourth. Bowman's on first. 1-0 pitch is high and away, and it's 2-0. To the Hardhats right fielder. Walker paused, took off for home when the throw back to the mound was just slow, kind of nonchalant. And now stepping off the rubber is Jones. 10-3 is the Hardhats lead. We're in the top of the fifth. They've plated 4, and there's 2 outs. Bowman, the lone man on the base path, he's on first. 2-0 to Solano is ripped into left field, and making the catch on the run is Mike McChesney, and that will end it. So the Hardhats deal even more damage. It's 4 runs on the power of 3 hits. No errors were charged to Dickinson in the top half of the fifth, and there was a man left on first. We played 4.5, exactly half of regulation. And post 22 is way in front in the driver's seat, 10-3. Zach Cholis back on the mound. He'll take on 2, 3, and 4, starting off with Cameron Jordan. We'll be back with that and more from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
The Hardhats now have a 7-run lead to protect as they go to the bottom half of the fifth, and Zach Cholis is still on the mound in relief. Came in for Kyle McGuire, who went the first 3 innings of the ball game. Cholis allowed just a hit. He struck out his first batter in the fourth, his first inning in relief, and now he'll take on Cameron Jordan, Sam England, and Eli Young. And his first pitch is ripped foul, third base side now to play. And Jordan, the third baseman, starts behind 0-1. Jordan's 0 for 1 on the ball game. A ground out to short in what was a 1-2-3 bottom half of the first. He walked in the bottom half of the third and came around to score. And his 0-1 misses low and away, and it'll even up at a ball and a strike. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action here in Dickinson. The rubber match of this 3-game set. 1-1, too far inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Hardhats dropped the first game of their doubleheader yesterday, 6-5, came back with an 11-0 win in Game 2. And are in the driver's seat 10-3 here in Game 3. 2-1. Swung on, and the ball is hit foul territory just behind home, and Paris can't make a play on it. It's in the meshing. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Jordan, the third baseman and leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the fifth. Sam England, the catcher, is on deck. Eli Young, the first baseman in the hole. Those 3 gentlemen scheduled to hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Jordan. Cholis looking for his second strikeout. Full windup. Here's his 2-2. Swung on. Ball's hit to third. Kramer with a nice stop on that big hop throw to first in time. That's another gentleman we've exhausted every positive adjective in the thesaurus on. 1 up, 1 down. Sam England's up.
You know, I sure miss the All-State team. Roger Tolan from the Journal used to ballot the coaches around the state and create an All-State team for so many years. And Justin Kramer would definitely be in the running as an All-State third baseman. He definitely would win a Golden Glove if they had those in Legion Baseball.
I completely agree with that. Sam England's first pitch is a check swing, fouled off of his bat. 0-1 the count to the backstopper for Dickinson. 0 for 2 with the first of 3 Kyle McGuire strikeouts. And a round out to, you guessed it, Justin Kramer at third. Maybe we should give him a golden vacuum. We keep calling him a vacuum. Just get one spray painted gold. 0-1 to England. Hit him. Right on the back of the catcher. So he's hit by a pitch. Man on first, 1 out, brings up Eli Young. Hit right between his shoulders as he kind of turned, trying to brace for it. So Eli Young, the only lefty that Cholis is going to face in the batting order, he's the cleanup hitter. He's 1 for 1, a walk, a run scored, and a single under his belt today. First pitch from Cholis. Swung on and missed. Rather, foul tipped into the glove, and it's 0-1.
I have not seen any team that we played this year have a better glove at third base than Kramer. And by far, I mean, there hasn't been anyone close to him.
0-1, swung on and missed on a low inside pitch, and it's 0-2.
You know, Cooper's had a great year at short, but we've seen a few other shortstops, too, that have played great shortstop, but we haven't seen anybody equal Kramer at third.
0-2 from Cholis to Young. Swung on, and it's just fouled off. And the count will hold, no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, and Justin got to the team a couple of weeks late because of school, coming back from South Dakota State. And his first 10 days, 2 weeks were a little shaky at third base. But, boy, he has just been unbelievable.
0-2 again from Cholis. Missed outside, and the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. And he's just a good kid, too. He's a good guy in the dugout and in the clubhouse. Makes things light. Think he's responsible for some of the operatic singing in the back of the bus on those long road trips? Either he or Solano. 1-2, misses high and away, and it's 2-2 on Young.
Is that kind of like a falsetto?
It is like a falsetto, yes. How'd you know?
Just my musical background.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count here to Eli Young. Cholis looks at that man on first in England, and he deals his 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that's his second strikeout in relief. 2 down, a man on first. Cody Mayer, the right fielder's up. Meyer on the ball game, 1 for 2, a ribby single and a strikeout. There's a man on first with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 10-3 Hardhats lead. First pitch from Cholis, swung on and fouled to the meshing. And it's 0-1. No balls and a strike to count. Cholis just fresh off of his second strikeout in relief. About to throw his 30th pitch in just 2 innings. Here's his 0-1. Off-speed pitch, called, strike at his knees, and it's 0-2 to Cody Meyer. A nice off-speed pitch from Cholis. And he's a pitch away from his 3rd strikeout and the end of 5 innings of play. 0-2 from Cholis, swung on and it's fouled. First base side, and the count will hold at 0-2. If Meyer is the final out of this bottom half of the 5th, then the Hardhats will see Zach Sumption, Todd Stevens, and Timmy Paris in order, scheduled to hit in the top of the 6th. Hardhats with a 10-3 lead and a man on first, 2 outs. 0-2. Misses upstairs from Cholis to Meyer, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. It's back and forth in the first 3 innings of play, and the Hardhats have played at 7 in their last 2 innings in the batter's box. Cholis looks at the man on first. 1-2 to Meyer. Swung on, and the ball's hit to the left side of the infield, and it's by both Kramer and Bowman, and it squeaks into left. And that'll be ruled a single for Meyer. With 2 outs, men on first and second, as England moves to scoring position, and that'll bring us to Mike McChesney, the left fielder. So we're not done just yet with the bottom half of the 5th. McChesney on the ball game is 1 for 2. With a single and a pop out right to Kyle McGuire in foul territory. Men on first and second for him, and Cholas deals his first pitch, low and away for ball one. Chesney is the 6-hole hitter for Dickinson in the lineup. He singled in the bottom of the second, ended the bottom of the third with that pop out to McGuire off the mound in foul territory. 1-0. Misses inside, 2 balls, no strikes to McChesney. Man on second is Sam England, the catcher. Man on first is Cody Meyer, the right fielder. Cholas will go from the stretch, a quick look around the base path. 2-0 pitch. Misses outside, and it's 3-0 to McChesney. Post 22 has Zach Sumption to lead off the top of the 6th if we get there. Cholas trying to lock down with this final out. Man on first and second and 2 outs. 3 balls, no strikes, though, the count to McChesney. And Cholas will step off the rubber.
What's Cholas at in his pitch count through an inning and 2/3?
He is at 36 through an inning and 2/3. So he still requires 1 day of rest at this point, I believe. If we're going by the postseason rules. 3-0 from Cholas. Called strike at the belt of McChesney, and it's 3-1. Because it's 1 to 45, I think you said, right? 1 day of rest. Tom nods in approval. 3-1 now to McChesney. And the 3-1. Swung on and missed. Pitch was low and away. May have had some movement on it, and the count goes full now to McChesney. So Cholas, who was way behind, 3-0. About to deal a payoff pitch. First and second, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats with a 10-3 lead, looking to keep it that way. Cholas, payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's popped up. Foul territory, third base side. Bowman comes all the way from short. Sumption on the run. He can't make the catch in foul territory. Kramer originally called for it. Then Bowman came streaking in from short. Sumption called everybody off. And he just missed it. And the count will remain full. So a second life here for Mike McChesney. Men on first and second for him. That's Sam England on second in scoring position. Cody Meyer is on first. McChesney will see a second payoff pitch. Cholas gets the signal from the umpire to play ball. He'll go from the stretch. Payoff number 2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Cholas in relief, and that one will end the bottom half of the 5th. No runs on a hit, no errors. 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. And at the end of 5 innings of play, the Hardhats' advantage remains intact at 10-3 over the Dickinson Rough Riders. We'll be right back with the top of the 6th, and Zach Sumption will lead us off here in just a few moments on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. We've played 5, and Post 22 has a whopping 10-3 lead over Dickinson as we head into the top of the 6th, and the Hardhats go back to the sticks. Numbers across the board through 5 innings of play for the Hardhats in the driver's seat. It's 10 runs on 7 hits with 1 error in the field. And on the other side for the Rough Riders, it's 3 runs on 6 hits with 1 blemish on defense. Mark Minetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action in our final road game of the regular season. Game number 53 out of what will be 56, barring any rainouts in the 3-game series against the Billings Scarlets that we'll have on Wednesday and Thursday. Zach Sumption, Todd Stevens, Timmy Paris scheduled to hit here in this top half of the 6th inning. It's always good, Tom, for this team to come out to the regional site, which Coach Messer has made a habit of the last couple of seasons. It gives the Hardhats a chance to visualize where they want to be in 3 weeks' time.
And they get familiar with the ballpark is the biggest advantage to playing here at the end of the year. They'll know the ballpark. They'll know its little idiosyncrasies, and it's a little bit of an advantage if you can play on the field before you actually come in for the tournament.
Well, this is a gorgeous field. The turf infield, a natural grass outfield. And it's played very well. It's a great ballpark. Zach Sumption, Colton Jones will face off to start off the top half of the 6th. And Sumption looks at ball 1 high and outside. Sumption on the ball game's 0 for 1. A walk, a strikeout, and a sac fly RBI. That run batted in came in the top half of the 1st. His 1-0 misses low and away from Colton Jones, and it's 2-0.
And I really like the dimensions here at this park. 320 down the lines and 375 to straightaway center. It
pitch skips in the dirt, 3-0.
Brings the home run into play a little bit. You like the home run. Fans enjoy the home run. But at this age level, high school, first year of college, it's a fair ballpark, and I like that.
3-0 to Sumption. Rides upstairs, ball 4. And so Sumption is issued a walk. It's the second one in relief for Colton Jones. That's the 10th walk for the Dickinson pitching staff in this ballgame. Leadoff man's on, no one out here in the top of the 6th, and that'll bring us to the DH, Todd Stevens. Stevens is looking for his first hit of the ballgame. A strikeout and a pair of groundouts. 1 to the pitcher, 1 to second base. Check down to first isn't there, and Sumption's back. First pitch to Stevens. Swung on, and it's fouled to the right of our press box. And it lands just in front of the press box, but to the right, and it's 0-1 to Stevens. Oh, 0-1 the count to Stevens, with Sumption taking his lead off of first. No one out here in the top of the 6th. And the 0-1 almost clipped his bucket, and it's 1-1 here to Stevens. 10-3 is the Hardhats lead. They've scored in 3 consecutive innings, and 7 in the last 2. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit, and it's going all the way to the corner. Zach Sumption, round second. He's going to head to third, and Todd Stevens is into second with a stand-up double. So a base on balls to Sumption, a double to Stevens, 2 men in scoring position to start off this top half of the 6th, and that'll bring us to Timmy Paris with men on second and third and no one out. So Stevens gets his first hit of the ball game, and it's a 2-bagger. And now Timmy Paris comes up with a chance to knock in a couple of runs. The infield is in for Dickinson. Everyone just on the edge of the grassy part of the turf. Paris 1 for 2, a walk, a fly out to center. He singled the last time he was up. Even got his first stolen base of the year. And his first pitch is low and in the dirt for ball 1. 1 for 1 on steal opportunities for Timmy. 1-0 the count to the Hardhats backstopper. Zach Sumption 90 feet to his left on third. Across from him on the diamond, Todd Stevens. 1-0. Misses low, and it's 2 balls, no strikes to Timmy Paris. Riley McSherry's on deck. 1 for 2 with a single, a walk, a stolen base, a pair of runs scored. So if Timmy either gets on the base path freely or he's retired, Riley McSherry's up next to trying to knock these 2 runs. 2-0. Swung on. The ball's hit high in the air to right. Cody Meyer is underneath it. And he makes the catch. Sumption tags up. And he will head into home and score. Stevens will hold up at second. An RBI sac fly for Timmy Paris, and the Hardhats lead is now 11-3 with a man on second and one out here in the top of the sixth. They've scored in 4 consecutive innings.
Timmy gets his 45th RBI of the season.
That 45th RBI now brings up Riley McSherry. Again, 1 for 2, a pair of runs scored, a single, a walk, and a stolen base. Todd Stevens on second. And one out in the top of the sixth, and the first pitch to McSherry is low. 1-0 to the Hardhats center fielder. Jack Sorensen's on deck. He's walked twice and singled once. One from Jones to McSherry. Low and inside, and it's 2-0. Hardhats have scored 8 unanswered runs in this ballgame to take what is now an 11-3 lead. Hard to believe we were deadlocked at 3 at one point. 2-0 to McSherry, swung on and missed, and it's 2-1. Stevens on second. Likes to dance out there, trying to take the pitcher off his game. And he begins that dance. I think Tom said at one point he's looked like a monkey out there, and he's picked off at second. Got a little too far ahead of himself there on that. So he's thrown out on a pickoff to second. 2 down, and the base path's empty here for McSherry. That's a 1-6 pickoff in the scorebook. 2-1 now to McSherry with a base path empty. Pitch is swung on and it's hit to third. Stops made on the play by Jorda, and his throw to first is in time, and that'll end it. 5-3 in the scorebook, but the Hardhats end up getting a run on a hit with no errors charged to Dickinson and no one left on the base path. We have played 5.5, and Post 22 has extended their lead now. It's 11-3 as we head to the bottom half of the sixth. And Zach Cholis back on the mound in relief will face the bottom third of the Rough Riders order. We'll be back in just a moment here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
5.5 in the books, and Post 22 has scored for a 4th consecutive inning and now holds an 11-3 lead over the Dickinson Rough Riders as we now head to the bottom half of the sixth, and Zach Cholis will continue his relief appearance. 40 pitches under his belt in 2 innings of work. So 20 pitches an inning is what he's seen, taking over for Kyle McGuire, who went 3 innings. 3 runs allowed on 4 hits. Trio of strikeouts, a pair of walks, 68 pitches. Cholis looking pretty good. He got his 2nd and 3rd strikeouts of his relief appearance in the 5th inning. He'll take on the bottom third of the Rough Riders order, starting off with the DH, Son Stoltz. Was 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt and the first strikeout that Cholis issued. And his first pitch is a called strike at the knees of Stoltz, outside corner, and it's 0-1.
You know, much as we've talked about this pitching rule over the last couple of days, there's one thought that keeps entering my mind about it.
0-1, swung on, hit right back to Cholis, off his glove, though, to Bowman. It's short throw to first in time. 6-3 in the book, 1 up, 1 down, brings us to Jones. And you were saying about the rule.
Well, it's going to force coaches. I mean, you really have got to put some thought in your pitching going into a tournament. And managing the pitching staff now is going to be the #1 by far strategic decision that managers are going to have to make on how to use their pitching staff. It completely has changed things.
First pitch to Jones, rides upstairs for ball 1. Lucas Jones, one of the 2 brothers of Colton Jones on this Dickinson team. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and one of them knocked in a run. 1-1 from Cholis is fouled, rather the 1-0. Now the count's 1-1.
And, I think it plays into Post 22's hands probably more than a lot of teams because they have pitching depth. A lot of teams can't go 4 deep. They can bring in fielders, certainly in pitch, but that's going to really be a detriment to those teams, bringing down the quality of play in the tournament.
Next pitch from Cholis upstairs for 2 balls and a strike now to Lucas Jones. Shortstop for the Rough Riders. And Cholis deals his 2-1. Swung on and the ball's fouled, and it'll even things up at 2-2.
We're going to do a conversation with Mitch Messer before we open up our last home games about this and get Mitch's real thoughts on it and how it's going to affect his coaching decisions.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cholis deals. High and away, and the count will go full. If you didn't think baseball was a chess match before, this really thickens things. Payoff pitch about to come from Cholis to Jones, and he deals. Up high, ball 4. So a 1-out walk issued by Cholis. It's his first walk of his relief appearance. That'll bring us to Sean Steffen, the center fielder. Steffen, 0 for 1, a sacrifice bunt, and a strikeout. His first pitch swung on and chopped foul third base side, and he's behind 0-1. So Cholis has only surrendered 1 base on balls. He did hit a batter, so 2 free base runners compared to 3 strikeouts. Not terrible. 0-1 to Steffen. Off-speed pitch is high, and it's a ball and a strike.
You imagine a game 1-1 in the 7th inning. Both teams have their starting pitchers throwing, and the coach is almost going to be forced to keep the guy in if he's pitching a great game, which would lose him for the whole tournament if he threw over 75 pitches.
Yeah. That's a great point, because how do you take out a hot hand?
Well, but then if you want to think you want him to pitch on that last day, if you're still in it, you've got to take him out.
One. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to center field. Riley McSherry's backpedaling. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch. F8 in the scorebook. 2 down. Still that man on first because of the base on balls to Lucas Jones. And that'll bring us to the top of the order. Ethan Dietz now taking over for Tanner Ouellette. He was substituted in the 5th inning. Defensively at second, Ouellette was 0 for 3 with a trio of groundouts, 2 of which came to his position at second. So Dietz now for his first at-bat of the ball game, and he fists one high into shallow right. Pause backtracks from second, and he makes the catch to end the bottom half of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on the base path on first. We have played 6 innings here in Dickinson, and Post 22 still maintains their 11-3 lead over the Rough Riders as we head into the top of the 7th. Top of the order, 9-1-2 due up for the Hardhats in the batting order. That'll start off with Jack Sorensen. We'll be back with that and more in just a few moments here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
At the end of 6 innings of play here in Dickinson, the Hardhats have 11 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for the Rough Riders. Dickinson has stranded 6 so far, or Hardhats have stranded 6 so far. 7 stranded by Dickinson. So both teams have had base runners. This was a 3-3 game through 3 innings of play. And now it's an 11-3 Post 22 lead here in the top of the 7th Post 22 could get a couple of runs here. They might look at the 10-run rule going into the bottom of the 7th, but they need at least 2 here in the top of the 7th as Jack Sorensen leads off for Post 22. Jack has walked twice, had a single his last at bat in the 5th inning. He has scored 2 runs in the game. And the pitch on the way is swung on, hit back up the middle into center field, a base hit off Colton Jones. So Sorensen has his 2nd hit of the game. So 9 hits now for Post 22 in the game. And it brings up Walker Paz. Walker's had a good day at the plate. He has scored 3 runs. He has knocked in 4 runs. Here's the pitch. And it's a ball low and outside. Walker walked in the 1st, fly to right in the 2nd, then singled to right to drive in 2 runs in the 4th, and singled to right center to drive in 2 runs in the 5th inning. 4 RBI afternoon for Walker Paz. Here's the set by Jones. A long look, and now time is called as Paz steps out. Young holding with Sorensen off of first, and the throw going over there. Here's the set again now by Jones. The pitch to Paz is swung on and missed. The ball gets away from the catcher, and down to second base goes Sorensen. So the count is 1-1 on Walker. Justin Kramer is on deck. The pitch on the way is swung on, hit down the right field line. It's hooking, though, and it's going to land foul. And it's 1-2 on Paz. Walker with the team lead in doubles now with 17. He's got 23 total extra base hits now in the year. That's just 1 behind Cooper Bowman, who has 24. And Zach Solano has 23 extra base hits. Here's Jones' pitch. And it's high for a ball, a fastball, and it's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball dropped by the catcher England, so the throw will have to go to first, and that will allow Sorensen to go to third base. So Walker does strike out for the first out of the inning. And Justin Kramer comes up with a runner at third base. It'd be interesting, too, if we had somebody who we could put on this all day for about a week. As Kramer steps in, infield is back, and the pitch outside is how many runs Post 22 has scored, aided by their great base running. When they picked up an extra base here or there. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch on the way, and it's too low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes on Justin, who has walked. Had a bunt single in the 3rd inning, fly to left, and has bounced to 3rd. 1 for 3. He has scored 2 runs. Swing and a miss. A big swing by Kramer. 2 balls and a strike. Outfield straightaway. Here's the pitch. And that's a strike over the inside corner. Evens the count at 2-2. Dietz, the second baseman, is up about 2/3 of the way at second. Shortstop up a half. He hits a ground ball to short. And Jones checks the runner back and throws to first for the out. So they played Jones up about halfway, and that helped out there. That kept the runner Sorensen at third. 2 down, and Cooper Bowman coming up. Cooper is 0 for 2. He grounded out in the 1st inning to short, got an RBI, grounded out to second in the 3rd, and he's walked his last 2 at-bats. RBI opportunity here with a runner at third. And the pitch is down low for a ball. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, and 11-3, post 22 lead. Here's the pitch. And Cooper takes a strike at the letters, and it's 1-1.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed with how this infield defense has shifted around, and I think you pointed it out the other night when the infield's come in a couple of times and come halfway, 3/4 of the way. Very impressed with how well it's worked out for him, too. Coach Greenwood knows what he's doing over there.
Here's the set by Jones. The pitch to Bowman bounces to the plate, blocked by the catcher England, and the count is 2-1. Well, it's going to be a very interesting state tournament up here in North Dakota with about 5 teams that probably could win it. West Fargo will probably go in as the favorite. 2-1 pitch, and it's down low and inside. 3-1 now on Bowman with Zach Solano on deck. Now time is called as the base umpire is coming in to talk to the pitcher Jones, who's tucking in his shirt into his pants. Apparently that was causing a distraction. Here's the set now by Jones, and the pitch on the way. High and tight, and for the 3rd consecutive at-bat, Cooper Bowman has drawn a base on balls. So Zach Solano comes up with runners at the corners. 2 outs. Let's look for Bowman to try to get down to second base here and set up a possible 2-run single for Solano or a 2-run base hit. Zach is 1 for 2. Here's the set by Jones. The pitch on the way is inside a ball. Zach has a walk, a sacrifice fly to center, a single to left, and a line drive to left. Runners at the corners and 2 out. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner. The pitch is a strike, and the throw goes into center field. In to score comes Sorensen, and Bowman goes to third. Mitch Messer had the same idea I did. Let's try to get those runners in scoring position to get a 10-run margin. That's an error on the catcher on the throw. Second error of the game for the Rough Riders. There's a little foul off to the left of home plate by Solano. Zach up there with 2 outs now, and a 12-3 Rapid City lead. Here's the pitch, and it's low. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Zach. Here's the set by Jones, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with an off-speed breaking ball. 1 run for post 22 in the 7th inning on 1 hit. There was 1 Dickinson error and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 7th. 7th inning stretch time. It's the Hardhats 12 and the Dickinson Rough Riders 3. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Bottom of the 7th inning. It's 12-3 for post 22. And just been informed it's 100 degrees now in Dickinson. It feels so much warmer than it was 99. So here's Zach Cholis Pitching to Cameron Jorda, the third baseman. And Cholas delivers a fly ball to left field. Over near the foul line goes Sumption. He's getting to it, and he grabs it as he crosses into foul territory. It was a fair ball catch. And there's one down here in the bottom of the seventh for Dickinson. That'll bring up Sam England, the catcher. He is struck out, bounced to third, been hit by a pitch. He's 0 for 2. Cholas beginning his fourth inning here in relief. The left-hander kicks and throws to England. Swing and a miss, a pitch away, and it's 1 strike. Wednesday night at Fitzgerald Stadium, a doubleheader against the Billings Scarlets. 5 o'clock for the double dip, and it will be senior night. The senior ball players will be honored before the second game. Swing and a miss by England, and it's 0-2. And then Thursday at 11 a.m. we'll wrap up the regular season, a single game against the Scarlets. And Mitch Messer was planning to use the same rotation he used in this series with Dickinson. Foul back. And the count to England remains at 2 strikes. Here's Cholas' pitch. Swung on, a pop foul, back and out of play. And the count runs along at 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the seventh for Dickinson. Post 22 with a 9-run lead. Here's the pitch. Strike on the inside corner. A good fastball from Cholas. He rings up England. So there are 2 down now. And that'll bring up Eli Young. For Cholas, that's his 4th strikeout. So 2 down, and here's Eli Young, the first baseman. A pitch on the way is swung on and missed. An off-speed breaking ball had Young out in front of it for strike 1.
Like you said, Tom, this is the 4th inning in which Cholas has come to work, and he's about to throw his 60th pitch, so he's on a very healthy 15 pitch per inning average.
Swing and a miss. 0-2. Young has 1 hit in 2 at-bats, plus a walk. He had a single to left and an RBI in the 3rd. Struck out his last at-bat against Cholas. Left-hander against left-hander. Swing and a miss. Boy, that looked like a left-hander matchup. Young probably doesn't see a lot of left-handers, and Cholas gets 2 strikeouts to end the 7th inning. So we head to the top of the 8th. It is 12-3. Post 22 leading Dickinson. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box here on ESPN Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
We're all set now for the top half of the 8th inning. Here at Astoria Field in Post 22. Holds on to a 12-3 lead over the Dickinson Rough Riders. They've scored in 5 consecutive innings. The only inning they've been blanked in was the second. They scored 2 in the first, none in the second, 1 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 1 and 6, and 1 and 7. Dickinson, on the other hand, zeros across the board except in inning number 2, which they scored twice, and inning number 3, which they scored once. Top of the 8th, we'll see Zach Sumption, Todd Stevens, and Timmy Paris swing the bat. Still up against Colton Jones. The relief pitcher of Morgan Wardner. Wardner only went the first 3 2/3 innings. Jones has been in since. Numbers across the board for post 22, 12 runs on 9 hits and an error. And Dickinson, 3 runs on 6 hits with a pair of errors. Mark Minetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action here in Dickinson. And Assumption's first pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. Assumption on the ball game is 0 for 1. Pair of walks, a strikeout, and a sac fly RBI. And his next pitch is swung on, hit down the third base line. That is fair. It's a base hit. Assumption rounds first. He's going to take his chance at 2, and the throw is not in time. And Zach Assumption, with gutsy base running, gets a double to lead off the top half of the 8th.
One change for Dickinson. Tristan Brunk is their new catcher. Brunk into the lineup where Sam England was catching, so Brunk will bat in the number 3 spot.
Tristan Brunk was the catcher yesterday in both games, so no surprise to see him behind the plate. Here comes Todd Stevens, the DH. And his first pitch sails high and inside. That's actually not Todd Stevens, that's Holden Jackson. So Holden Jackson comes in for Stevens as the DH. Stevens ended up going 1 for 4 with a strikeout, 2 groundouts, and a double. He was picked off, though. So now Holden Jackson takes over for him. Not too many times that Jackson's seen the batter's box this year. He has a 1-0 count to work with and a man on second. And the next pitch comes in for strike 1, and his count's evened up at a ball and a strike. Holden Jackson on the season batting. He's batting .222 coming into this matchup. 4 hits and 18 at-bats. Here's his 1-1. Breaking ball, called strike.
Holden got a look at what his breaking ball looks like sometimes. Isn't very nice to look at that breaking ball. Good pitch there by Jones.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the count here to Jackson, taking over for Todd Stevens as the DH. Jones will step off the rubber. Zach Assumption's on second. He led off this top half of the 8th with a double. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, and that ball's turned on to left, but it is foul. And the count will hold at a ball and 2 strikes. Wow, Jackson really got a hold of that one. 1-2 the count. To Holden Jackson, who's the new DH for the Hardhats. Timmy Paris is on deck. Sac fly RBI the last time he was up. He's officially 1 for 2. Jones will go from the stretch. 1-2 to Jackson. Swung on and missed. Ball's dropped on strike 3, and the throw to first skips, but it's in time as it gets to Eli Young. So that's the 4th strikeout for Colton Jones. 1 down, still a man on second, and that'll bring us to Timmy Paris. So again, Paris officially 1 for 2 with a single, a fly out, a base on balls, and a sac fly RBI. Also came around to score once, and he's 1 for 1 on stolen bases now. Got his first steal of the season today. Paris' Assumption on second, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. It's a 12-3 Hardhats lead over the Rough Riders, and immediately Paris calls for time before he gets his first pitch. Here comes the first pitch to Paris. And it's way outside, rather inside, but technically outside because it was around the back of Paris. 1-0 the count. Paris walked once. That was in the top of the 2nd. Flew out to center in the 4th. Singled, stole the base, scored in the 5th. Sac fly ribby in the 6th. 1-0. Skips before home plate, and it's 2-0. Riley McSherry's on deck. Playing center field for post 22 today. 1 for 3 with a single, a walk, and a pair of runs scored. (2-0) to Paris. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to left field. That ball has the legs, it has the distance, and it has left the ballpark. A 2-run blast over the left field wall for Timmy Paris, and that was a no-doubter. McChesney started walking to the wall, and he said, nope, this one's out of here, and he stopped at his tracks. And now the Hardhats have a 14-3 lead on the 2-run bomb from Paris with one out here in the top of the 8th.
Jimmy's 4th home run of the season. He now has a total of 47 RBIs, his 3rd of the day. And that, as you said, was a no-doubter. It left the bat, and McChesney took about 3 or 4 steps towards the left field fence and just quit.
And now that brings up Riley McSherry, as the Hardhats have scored in 6 consecutive innings, and it's 14-3. First pitch swung on and missed. McSherry way ahead of that off-speed pitch. 0-1 the count to the Hardhats center fielder. Again, he's 1 for 3 on the ball game. Fly out to right, a ground out to third. And in between, a single, a base on balls, a pair of runs scored, and a stolen base. 0-1, skips before home plate, and the count will even up at a ball and a strike.
Trey Eberline is throwing in the bullpen. I'm sure we'll see him in the bottom of the 7th to try to wrap this one up in a 10-run rule in the bottom of the 8th, I should say.
The Hardhats with an 11-run advantage right now, so that rule is definitely in effect. 1-1. Swung on, and that ball is hit to short. Stop is made on the hop. The throw to first, not in time. Giving everything he had on that one was Lucas Jones. The ball took a couple of skips on him. They're going to rule that an infield hit. So McSherry on first with his 2nd hit of the ball game. 1 out, and that'll bring up Jack Sorensen. Sorensen has been on base every single time he's been in the batter's box today. Pair of walks and a pair of singles in that order, and he scored 3 out of his 4 times on the bases. Check to first is off track, and Riley McSherry's going to take off for 2nd. Maybe even more. He's rounding 3rd. He's coming for 3, and then he immediately slams his brakes, and he'll just hang on at 2nd. So an E1 will allow him to take off. That'll be the 3rd error of the ball game here for Dickinson. So Jack Sorensen has a man in scoring position and has yet to see a first pitch. Sorensen in an RBI situation here. Potentially. Colton Jones still in relief. Deals his first pitch to Sorensen. And it is swung on and missed. They're not calling it a foul, and McSherry's going to take 3rd as the ball skips to the backstop.
Boy, how many times have we seen that today?
Seriously. Not too many fouls at the plate to warrant that. So 0-1 the count here, and Sorensen now has a man 90 feet to his left to work with. So Sorensen almost definitely in an RBI situation now. He can score on the sac fly, score on a base hit. Grounder if it's hit to the right side of the infield. 0-1 hits him, and that will render his RBI moot as he trots to first with 1 out on a hit by pitch. It looks like we're going to have a conference here on the mound. So the Hardhats have men on the corners with 1 out. It brings up Walker Pause. And whether we're going to get a pitching change or not is yet to be seen. And it looks like we will. I think Dietz is going to come in from 2nd. He was taking the wrap off of his wrist. And so now he will come out and pitch. So Colton Jones ended up going to the dugout. He's getting a new glove. It looks like he's going to go into the outfield for McChesney. Now, if McChesney's going to switch his glove and come to the infield or not, we have yet to see. That could be the case. So Colton Jones now out in left. Dietz will pitch. And are we waiting on a new glove for McChesney or not?
Well, a reminder that the regular season comes to an end on Wednesday and Thursday at Fitzgerald Stadium as we prep for the state tournament hosted by Post 22 at Fitzgerald Stadium on Wednesday night. Billings Scarlets for a 5 p.m. doubleheader, senior night. And then on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. we have a single game with the Scarlets. And then the state tournament begins on Wednesday, July the 26th. 8 teams from across the state will be here. And that's always a great tournament. The winner will advance right here to Dickinson for the Central Plains Regional, hosted by the Rough Riders on this very Astoria Field turf. And hopefully, Post 22 will be participating in that, but it's always tough. Post 22 has won 4 state tournaments in a row. They seem to get a little bit harder when you get a streak going. Boy, Mark, it was something to be part of that 18 streak, 18 years in a row. My Lord.
I can almost imagine. Ethan Dietz is now pitching. McChesney is going to move to second. Colton Jones moves out and left. Walker Paz looks at a first pitch strike from Dietz, the new pitcher on the mound, a right-hander. And it's 0-1. Paz, one heck of a day he's had. 2 for 4, a pair of 2-run RBI singles, a strikeout, a flyout, a walk, and 3 runs scored. And as 0-1 rides upstairs, it's 1-1. Paz again has men on the corners. On first is Sorensen with the hit by pitch. On third with a single. An advancement on a throwing error is Riley McSherry. Check to first isn't there, and Sorensen's back. 14-3 is the Hardhats lead. Men on the corners and 1 out here for Paz. Here's his 1-1 from Dietz. And it's way high and outside, and it's 2-1. Dietz is the third pitcher for Dickinson. Next pitch to Paz. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to center. Underneath it is Steffen. And Steffen's going to make the catch. Tagging up from third. Heading to home is Riley McSherry. Throw won't come there. And it's an RBI sac fly for Walker Paz, his 5th ribby of the ball game. And it's now 15-3 post 22 with a man on first and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. So Jack Sorensen stays put on first. That'll bring up Justin Kramer with 2 outs. Kramer on the ball game is 1 for 4. A walk, a bunt single. He's been retired in 3 consecutive at-bats. And he looks at a first pitch ball low and away, 1-0. Pair of runs also scored for Kramer, also a pair of stolen bases. There's his 1-0. This is low and away, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Jack Sorensen still on first with that hit by pitch. Hardhats now with a 15-3 lead over Dickinson. 2-0. Ball went away, and it's 3-0. Three balls, no strikes to count here to Kramer, looking for his second free pass of the day. And the 3-0. Misses low for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk for Justin Kramer. That's the first that Dietz has allowed, and only 2 batters faced in relief. The 11th walk by Dickinson pitching today. And that will bring up Cooper Bowman. Men on first and second. Bowman's been walked in 3 consecutive at-bats. And he looks at a first pitch strike. And it's 0-1. Bowman officially is 0 for 2. RBI ground out. And the ground out to second to go with those 3 free passes. 0-1 is upstairs, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Zach Solano on deck, and if he reaches the batter's box, then the Hardhats will have officially batted through the order here in the 8th inning. 1-1. Misses low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Hardhat shortstop still looking for his first hit today. He's been on base 3 times, has yet to come around and score. 2-1. Swung on, and he rips it foul. Almost clocked his head coach, Mitch Messer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So that went down the third baseline, just outside the box. Mitch took a foul ball off his hand last year, and that was brutal to watch. 2-2. High and inside, and the count will go full. Remember, Coach had Very puffy hand for a while. Of course, that meant that at the time, Pete Barrows had to write down the lineup card, and it was legible, so if there was any silver lining to it. 3-2 is swung on, and it's hit high in the air to right. Cody Meyer is underneath it, and he makes the catch, and that'll end the top half of the 8th. Well, the Hardhats plate 3 more in this inning, and they do so on the power of 3 hits, including a 2-run blast for Timmy Paris. There was 1 error charged to Dickinson. That was a throwing error. And there was 2 men left on the base path and 1 in scoring position. 7.5 innings in the books. If the Hardhats play their cards right and 3 outs, the ball game comes to an end, and Trey Eberline will take over pitching duties in the bottom half of the 8th. We'll be back with his stats and more in just a few moments here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Got ourselves a rave up here in the press box as we transition to the bottom half of the 8th inning.
What's a rave?
It's where people that are involved in a certain area initiate in rhythmic choreography, dancing. And Tom's been teaching us all about that today and this whole road trip.
I was just moving around. Does that qualify for dancing today?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, anything qualifies for singing today, so.
Sadly, you're right. Zach Cholis, what a relief appearance he had. 5 strikeouts in 4 innings of work. He only allowed 2 hits, and not a single run came across. And he only walked 1 and hit 1 on 61 pitches. That'll give way to Trey Eberline now, who comes out in relief, the 3rd pitcher used for the Hardhats. Eberline, 15th appearance of the season, 14th in relief. He has a 3-0 record and is 4 for 4 in save opportunities. 25 2/3 innings of work under his belt with 24 strikeouts to 23 walks and a 2.46 ERA. He'll face off against Cody Meyer, the right fielder, whose first pitch is hit high in the air to shallow center. Bowman in from short will make the catch. And it's a pop 6 in the book. 1 up, 1 down on 1 pitch. And that'll bring us to Mike McChesney, who is now the second baseman. So Trey Eberline, very efficient. 1 pitch, 1 up, 1 down. Cody Meyer will finish this ball game 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, a run scored, an RBI, and a strikeout. McChesney's first pitch, low and away on a fastball from Eberline, and it's 1-0. He is 1 for 3 with a single, a pop out in foul territory to pitcher Kyle McGuire, and a strikeout. The 3rd of 5 Chola strikeouts. Next pitch from Eberline misses. 2-0. It skips to the plate. Sean Stoltz, the designated hitter, is on deck. He's 0 for 3, barring any substitutions. 2-0 to McChesney. High and inside, and it's 3-0. Three balls, no strikes here to McChesney. And Eberline, full windup deals. Called strike on the outside corner, and it's 3-1. Stoltz, the DH, on deck. If we get that far, following him is Lucas Jones, the shortstop. 2 for 2. 3-1. Swung on, and the ball is hit foul. Out of play, into the stands. And luckily it didn't harm anyone. I think Tommy Wall's dad was sitting near there. And the count goes full, 3-2. Payoff pitch coming from Eberline. 1 out, no one on. Gets a sign, payoff pitch. Swung on, and the ball's hit to 3rd. Kramer gets it on 2 hops. Throw to first is in time. 5-3 in the book. 2 up, 2 down, and quite possibly the final batter of the ball game. is now Colton Jones. Colton Jones has been inserted as the DH, taking over for Sean Stoltz. So Jones was replaced on the mound, but he comes out to hit. And the first pitch that he sees from Eberline's a ball, 1-0. So Jones takes over for Stoltz, who went 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a sacrifice bunt. And his 1-0 pitch is a called strike on a fastball outside corner. 1-1 the count. Jones had 4 strikeouts in 4 1/3 inning of work. And his next pitch misses, and it's 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 from Eberline. Misses low, and it's 3 balls and a strike. If Jones walks, then Lucas Jones, who is his brother, one of his 2 on this team, is on deck. Kendall Jones, who was a relief pitcher last night, the lefty, is the other of the 3 Jones brothers. 3-1. Misses low and inside for ball 4. So Eberline surrenders a walk. And it comes with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Lucas Jones, the shortstop. Lucas Jones, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, a run knocked in, and a walk. However, he has been stranded twice in scoring position and once at first, so he has yet to come around. 15-3 is the Hardhats lead. If Eberline gets this out, the ball game's over. First pitch from the stretch. Breaking pitch up high, 1-0. Sean Steffen, the center fielder, is on deck if we get that far. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a sacrifice bunt. There's a 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes from Eberline to Jones. Lucas Jones, that is. Colton Jones is on first. Hardhats with a 12-run lead. 2-0. Skips low, and it's 3-0. And Eberline's a pitch away from back-to-back walks. Three balls, no strikes to count to the Dickinson shortstop, Lucas Jones. Eberline's 3-0. Misses low in the dirt for ball 4. So it's back-to-back walks for Eberline here with 2 outs. That'll move Colton Jones to second, and it'll move Lucas Jones to first, and that is going to bring us to Sean Steffen. Steffen on the ball game, a strikeout in the bottom of the second, sacrifice bunt in the bottom of the 4th, and a flyout bottom of the 6th, so he's 0 for 2. Men on first and second for him, and 2 outs in his first pitch. It's a called strike. 0-1 the count to Steffen. Colton Jones is on second, Lucas Jones is on first. Eberline, a quick look around the diamond. 0-1 pitch. Just missed inside, and it's 1-1. Pitch looked like it had some movement to it. Ball on a strike to count. And Eberline deals. Swung on and missed on an outside pitch, and it's 1-2. So Eberline's a pitch away from his first and only strikeout in relief. And they would end this ball game with a 15-3 win for the Hardhats. One-two from Eberline. Caught him looking, strike 3, and that's going to do it. A backwards K ends the ball game, and Post 22 wins the rubber game. Takes 2 out of 3 against Dickinson this weekend with a 15-3 victory here on Sunday afternoon.
15-3, the Hardhats win to go 46-7 going into their final 3 games at home this season, coming up Wednesday and Thursday. Mark and I will return from Dickinson and wrap this one up with the totals and highlights. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. So Post 22, after dropping the first game of last night's doubleheader, come back with a vengeance, winning 11-0 in the second game last night, and then 15-3 here in 8 innings this afternoon, as Post 22 scored a couple of runs in the first inning to take a quick 2-0 lead. Dickinson tied it 2-2 after 2. We were tied 3-3 after 3, but then Post 22 broke the game open, scoring 3 runs in the fourth inning, highlighted by Walker Paz's 2-run single. They scored 4 more in the fifth inning. Again, a 2-run single by Walker Paz, who had 5 RBIs in the game, was the big hit of the inning, and Post 22 went on to score 15 runs. 15 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for Post 22. They stranded 9. 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors, and 9 left for Dickinson. The starting pitcher for Post 22, going just 3 innings, was Kyle McGuire, and then Zach Cholas came on and pitched 4 scoreless innings before Trey Eberline finished up with a scoreless 8th inning. But a great relief job by Zach Cholas, and Ethan Dietz finished up. He was the last of 3 pitchers used by Dickinson, but Morgan Wardner and Colton Jones also pitched, with Wardner the starter and the loser. So 46-7 for the Hardhats, 21-11 for Dickinson. And Timmy Paris, 4th home run of the season, came in the top of the 8th inning, a 2-run shot. Timmy had 3 RBIs in the game for Rapid City. So on a long, hot, windy afternoon here in Dickinson, the road season ends.
Absolutely it does, and it ends in a spot where the Hardhats hope to be back in 3 weeks, and that, I think, is the most important thing. Like you mentioned earlier, coming out to a ballpark like this, given the scenario that the regional tournament is hosted out here, the Hardhats get to see what this ballpark's all about. Idiosyncrasies, its dimensions, they get a feel for it, but it also helps them visualize where they can be in 3 weeks if they get the job done when the state tournament begins on July 26th. And here's hoping, Tom, that it's 5 in a row state championships, and this team is trying to punch its ticket for a World Series.
And before we get to that state tournament, let's conclude the regular season this Wednesday and Thursday at Fitzgerald Stadium. A chance for the fans to see the final regular season games of the year. On Wednesday night, a 5 p.m. doubleheader against the... It'll be senior night. The senior ball players will be honored before the second game on Wednesday. And then Thursday at 11 a.m., the Scarlets and Post 22 to wrap up the regular season. Hard to believe, but that's where we stand as we head towards the ends of the July, with the state tournament opening July 26th at Fitzgerald Stadium. I have 3 words for you, Mark.
Yeah, what are those 3 words?
Good day, Mark.
Good day to you, Tom. We will see you Wednesday for the start of our final homestand. Folks, thanks so much for joining us all weekend long. Solid baseball as the Hardhats take 2 out of 3 against Dickinson, and they cap it off with a 15-3 win in this final matchup. For my partner, Tom Rudabush, our director of Hardhats-TV, Dustin Heumann, this is Mark Benetti saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you Wednesday night for the start of our final 3 home games of the regular season.